When we talk about certain topics, right? When you talk about certain things in your life, when there's like, especially because this game it means a lot to us, right? There's certain things that you talk about that you're like, oh, there's a little red flag, right? Doesn't that give you a red flag when you think about it? Changing the rates.
Me a green flag, absolutely. The only
Okay,
if tomorrow Nat 4 rates are coming up, I'm
Thompson.
buying all the LD scrolls and trying to summon a Molly, man. Green flag all the way.
Aloha, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast. As you can see, we got the crew back again. Thompson's back this week. Waika's back. We got Tyler, and we got a new face. I mean, shouldn't be really a new face in the summoners or community though, but we have Ulti. Or I guess I call him Ulti, but Mr. Ulti. What's the official name? What's your official name? What did you go by?
I changed it to Ulti because the other one was way too long.
I got you. So just Ulti. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have been watching the last couple of podcasts. The last couple of podcasts, we've had Com2uS employees joining us. Ulti, you are a Com2uS employee, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm working for the EU office.
Yet again, we have another Com2uS employee. Yeah, we're bringing them in, boys and girls. We're gonna extract all the information we can from all of them. No, I'm just kidding. But not really. But I'm just kidding. But all right. Thompson, do you have anything to start off the podcast with as usual?
No? No, not today.
Not today? Okay. I would say that I'll start off with something. And if you guys don't know, I was recently in LA a couple days ago. They had me there to film a couple different things. And I got to hang out with Thompson. And we nerded out. I don't know how many of you guys are big Magic the Gathering fans, but we played Magic. And we opened boxes and we played some sealed. And bro, I gotta say, this guy is like the most competitive guy in the world, dude. Like
right?
So competitive, man.
You.
I accidentally drew 2 cards on accident. He's like, "Hey, you drew 2 cards." You know what I mean? Like, I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Relax, dude.
Yeah.
Relax, it's all good.
You actually counted your life wrong, and I told you you weren't at 20 life. Yeah, that was all. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yo, just to let everyone know, in Magic, if you draw 2 cards, it's like getting 2 violent procs in a Summoner's War.
Okay, it doesn't work like that way, okay?
It's a huge deal to draw 2 cards.
True, I guess. True.
Busted for cheating, IslandGrown.
Well, I didn't actually. I just made that up.
To let you guys know, IslandGrown is high key, super competitive. Super competitive.
High key, not low key. High key.
Not even low key.
High
No.
key. I mean, I'm competitive. It makes it fun, right? If you have people that are not competitive, it's not fun. So I find it more fun to try to be competitive, but in a fun way, right? Yeah, in a fun way.
Island is a man of many talents.
Jamali, the baby's actually downstairs. She's eating right now.
But yeah, we also had Com2uS dude join us as well, and I actually talked to him, and in the future he said he's down to join the podcast. So I'm telling you, man. Yeah, I think I'm baiting all the employees to come onto the podcast. Yeah, so we'll get all that information from all of them. In the
They're
future.
not giving up intel though, bro.
Yeah, I know.
we gotta squeeze them a little bit.
I'll leave that to you. You know what I'm saying?
I missed the NA guys a lot.
Yeah, man.
Freaking co-ed, man.
One of the best meals in Paris was brought to me. Ulti took me to one of the best meals in Paris, and actually, when I went back to Paris 3 months after that, I went to eat there again. I ate there twice on the SWC trip. I ate there one extra time after he took me, and then on my trip back, I went to eat there again. It was really good, that place.
Yeah, dude, it was amazing.
That place is awesome. Best service in the world, that place.
What's the place?
French food, bro. It was in Paris.
Yep.
But it was the best service in the universe. Like,
did we go there together, or did you guys went? Did we go together?
No, you were there as well.
Which one was that? Which one was that one?
It was the day when everyone was having the they were shooting these videos, and you guys
all
were
the competitors went to the Eiffel Tower, and we went to eat.
Yeah.
Remember? It was me, you, Crizzle Shizzle was there, Taki.
Yeah, Obabo was there.
Obabo.
Is it the one you got some foie gras and stuff like that? At
Yeah,
that place?
you ate like chicken or lamb or something. I think
I think I had the chicken or something.
So I ordered like 4 things. I ordered food for like 6 people.
Yeah, bro. Everybody got their meals. They're like, well, who had the chicken? Who had the blood? And then you got Waika sitting there. Who got the chicken? Me. Who got the ravioli? Me. Who got the foie gras? Me. They just dropped all the food on his table.
Oh, that place is so good though. Also, I remember you did a great job of casting the EU thing too. By the way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I did watch all of it. But yeah, continue.
I was pretty nervous, but the games were so nice that in the end, especially the last day, that was hella fun.
You saw that guy use Katarina?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I thought that he was flexing. You know, he was doing your like Manananan thing, and then he just locked it in.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. Yeah, but the Leo was too much. I was eating with Waika's at Paris, and it's like who got the chicken? You know, Waika's like me. Who got like the beef? He's like, me. Who got the drink? Me. Who got the hot chocolate? Me. And then all of a sudden, the guy's like, who got the water? And I'm like, oh, me. And white guy's like, what the fuck? Why do you buy water, man? It's so expensive. Oh my God. What a waste of money.
Thompson was the first one to justify how much value an $8 bottle of Evian is. And by the way, just to let you guys know, if you haven't been to Paris, $8 water is probably already the cheapest water you're gonna find in a restaurant.
True.
Yeah, Paris.
I ate at this one place with my wife and my wife's best friend in the train station. It was a real beautiful restaurant in the train station. I got a Coke Zero. My wife got a still water, and her best friend got a sparkling water. I'm sorry, her best friend got a still water. My wife got a sparkling water. The Coke Zero was 13, the still water was 12, and the sparkling water was 15, and that's euros. So you're looking at close to $20 for a bottle of water.
That's a 30 scroll pack on that.
And there's very few restaurants that give free water. Very few that actually give free water. Most of them have to buy their bottles, and water costs more than wine, which is why everybody drinks wine there. If you go to the supermarket, you'll see bottles of wine for $1, $1.25, and then fucking water is $15.
Hey, it's like Korea as well, right? It's like some of the alcohol in Korea.
So
is
I spent probably like $400 just on soda in like 4 days.
And you judge me for buying water.
Well, soda at least has some value to it. Water's freaking has zero value.
Essence of life.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a
Paris is just like Paris and Korea for that reason are like really, really touristy trapped. If you're like in the really big popular areas, they're gonna make things like ridiculously expensive because they know that you're gonna buy it anyways.
But even Paris especially. Like when I went to Barcelona, I went to Italy and stuff. Like soda wasn't that expensive. Like the most expensive soda I bought in Italy was €5 for a bottle of soda. But France, dude, every restaurant I'm losing like $50 just in drinks. Like I need at least 3 drinks per dinner, so it's like 3 sodas. It's $50 every dinner just in drinks. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty funny when you go from Paris and then you go to anywhere in Italy or anywhere in Portugal or anywhere in Spain and everything just like drops in price by like 80%. You're like, oh, this is what it's like to actually afford water.
It's still expensive, Tyler, but like
but it's not like you're not dying trying to drink water.
Like normally you feel bad buying a $5 soda, but like it feels so good after 15 to buy a $5 one. Like you feel you got such a value. But yeah, that water story with Thompson was a breakfast we had, and it was like $8 for a bottle of Evian. He goes, "Oh my God, this is so value." He goes, "It's so worth it." He goes, "The best thing I bought all trip." And I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But yeah, he loves his water. One thing you'll know with Thompson is he'll always have bottles of water around him at all times.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Stay hydrated, right? But all right, let's get into today's podcast here. I love these small talks, which of course, it's always fun to throw these around while the podcast is going on. So feel free to do so. I love these tangents. Well, let's jump right into topic number 1 that we got lined up here. SWC Prelims, they're done, right? What matches were your favorite, right? Out of the ones that you've seen so far through all of them, which matches were terrible? What did you not like, right? Out of all of them, we have EU, we have APAC, we have America's Cup. We had all the different prelims out there. What did you enjoy the most out of all of them now that it's kind of all done, right? I believe prelims all done, right? All the prelims are done. It's just all cups now, right?
Yeah.
We could start off with Ulti. Actually, you know what, Ulti? I always let people intro themselves a little bit, right? I'll let you intro yourself. Before you answer the question, maybe intro yourself. Let us know how long you've been playing Summoners War, maybe the journey onto, maybe how you got into even working for Com2uS as well, and how long you've been playing Summoners War and working for them.
Sure. Wait, I have to check how long I've been playing. So I've been playing for 1,300 days now.
Damn.
So I'm from Turkey and I'm living in Berlin right now, working for the Europe office of Com2uS. And how I started Summoners War, it was pretty interesting actually. I was playing a different game. And I was using this app where, you try out other games and then you get some currencies and then you can spend it on Play Store cards. And I downloaded Summoners War and I thought that I'm just going to play it for 5 minutes and I'll delete it. And then 1,000-something days later, we're here now.
Nice.
And how I started working for Com2uS, it was actually super lucky for me. So I had just finished university. I studied here in Germany, in Bremen, my undergraduate. And then I moved to Berlin because I love the city and I knew I wanted to work here. And I was looking for jobs for some time. And then I found something like some part-time gig. I was doing that for a couple of months. And then I got super tired of it and I started looking for other stuff again. And then at 3 a.m. one night, I just see there's a job opening at Game will Come to Us, because that's how the company is called outside of Korea. Actually, it's like Game will Come to Us. And when I first saw Game will, I was like, what is this? Because I wasn't so sure about it. And then I read Com2uS, and I was like, wait, I know that company. I've been playing their game. Like at that point, I was playing for 2 years already.
That's cool.
And they were looking for a Turkish person in the office.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just
timing.
applied. Yeah, it was so perfect, man. It was like stars aligned. I applied for it. A week later, I had the interview. And I just want to give a small thing from the interview. So I had an interview with our CEO, and like it was going amazing. And in the end, he was like, "Oh, I forgot to ask you about something important." And I'm like, "Crap! Like it was going so well. Now I'm gonna screw it up." And he was like, "Oh, can you show us your island?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that." And they just, you imagine, in the end of my job interview, they're just looking at my island. I'm like, "Is this a dream or like what's going on?"
That's super cool. Man.
That's
and
awesome,
that was
dude.
3 years ago, and now I'm still working here. I'm loving it. I started off as a community manager. Now I'm going a little bit more into content side as well. I'm also doing community management on the side. I was taking care of all the social media related stuff for SWC EU Cup, and also I ended up having my first casting experience this time, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
You did great, man. You did great for
That's
your
awesome.
first time. Bro.
Yeah, a lot of players don't.
Thanks, man.
A lot of players don't know, but a lot of viewers actually they don't know. But you're actually a high ranked player as well, right? You're like
Yeah.
G1, G2, right? I believe.
Yeah, I'm playing G1, G2. Like right now, I'm on a little bit of a tilt. I'm on the border of C3, but I'm gonna climb before.
Oh wait,
the
actually, you're
season.
G1, G2, or are you a Hertate user?
Yeah, I'm a.
No,
user.
sorry. Oh, he's Hertate user. My bad. Not
Oh.
G1, G2. Hertate user. I'm just messing with you, dude. I
Dude,
still remember,
like,
dude.
I just- I pulled Hertate maybe 2 months after they were released, and the first couple of weeks were so much fun because no one knew what he was doing. And you know, if you're playing on the phone, the third skill is so long that you weren't able to read what it's doing. So if you didn't know that, like you basically couldn't read it. Now they fixed it, but it was so fun. People were trying to OK skill to my Hertate and stuff like that. It was the best.
Yeah, I remember in Paris, he was like showing me. He's just like showing me some RTAs and like letting me do some RTAs, and then he's just like, yeah, you just pick these. I was like, okay, I pick it. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is so easy, dude. This is so easy. With Odin
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff, right?
just-
You're running like Draco Odin. I don't know if you still
Odin.
run that.
Yeah, Draco,
Yeah.
Odin,
Yeah.
Rocky. Now I'm also doing Savannah and Tableau and stuff like that.
Nice.
Okay, so I have a question for you. How many LD
Yeah.
Nat 5s do you have?
1.
All right, that's okay. I'm okay with just.
My boss has.
No, Hertate is sick though. Like that's a
Yeah,
really nice one
Hertate
to
is.
have.
It's pretty nice, but I don't think I don't think it's like S tier, but I think it's really great. It's like easy to counter, so I cannot draft him. Like I was forcing him into every draft. Now I changed that. But when like in certain drafts, he's either a must ban or he just carries.
Well,
solo.
like you said, as time goes by, like people start figuring out more and more
Yeah.
ways to deal with every unit, you know. So it becomes harder to just force pick it. You actually have to.
Yeah,
pick
for
it.
sure.
Right. All right. So, what was your favorite matches from the
Okay.
SWC? Any of them? Any
Yeah,
of the regions?
Okay, it's a good segue from Hertate. My favorite match was the Buru Buru match, where he picked the Katarina team because actually he's one of my favorites on RTA. Like I watch all of his games, and at some point he was just spamming that comp, and I loved it. It's like almost like an Exodia comp, you know, just missing the speed lead. That was amazing. And from our cup, I loved the Baus versus Blue game where I thought it was pretty much over for like Blue was winning, and then Baus's Verdes just soloed Blue's entire team. That was pretty sick.
Dude. Crazy, bro. Okay. How about you, Thompson? What was like your favorite matches?
Same, I
from
like
the
the Katarina comp that guy brought in EU Cup. Yeah, that was awesome.
different, right? Very, very different.
Yeah.
I mean, well, we see it. We've been seeing it on the ladder. Like you see some people that use it, right? So it's a lot more unorthodox, but it's not like out of the blue nowhere, right? But it's cool to see it. It's actually really cool to see it. How about you, Wekas?
I actually liked a lot of the Europe matches this year. I don't know. I didn't really like the Asia ones. I don't know if it was because it was so late that I was halfway sleeping through all of them. But yeah, I actually enjoyed a lot of the Europe ones this year. Like I think both of two of Boss's matches were both really good.
Yeah.
The one with Seishizo was good too, right? And then, yeah, I really liked the Europe one more than any other ones, honestly, this year. And I didn't expect that, I didn't expect to like the Europe one, but yeah, I actually enjoyed that one the most. I think it was just like the same comps, and then like Asia. Like I said, it was very late, so I couldn't really focus. I was like dozing off through all the matches, but yeah, the Europe one was like moderate because my daughter's awake by then, so I'm just laying in bed while she's watching cartoons and I'm watching that. So
Nice.
I think the cool thing about Europe matches were that we have like 4 or 5 players that never draft Hathor, so it just gives it a lot of variety to the plays. Like Vilipiti doesn't draft it, Ismo doesn't,
right.
Zerpolita doesn't, Shen doesn't, so it's just
like I said, I like to see different things. I get tired of seeing the same, Gani Hathor, Vanessa Fran, the same 4 picks over and over again. It brings a little flavor, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Tyler? What was your favorite match or matches?
So the 2 matches I enjoyed the most. I loved seeing Sinche has always been one of my favorite players, so I really enjoyed watching him use the Pontos finally. I've always seen him like draft different, totally different. He reworks his draft every single season. There's seasons where he's done only 4 stars. There's seasons where he's like, I refuse to pick a Thor. I've seen his Perna 1v4 somebody in RTA at like G3. But I think obviously I love the Obabo matches. For me, a lot of it comes down to like the players that I enjoy watching more or less than the comps. I can't remember who it was, but somebody picked up the Bay in one game, I think, versus Sinche. He picked the Bay and Artemil. I think it was. That was a cool game. And then there was another game where I can't remember what it was.
That's the Bay match.
Open one second.
I remember hitting really hard and just chopping one unit instantly.
Yeah, that guy normally does the Molong, Arta, Harmonia stuff, but that's he had a pretty hard time pulling it off in the tournament because people expected it, and
that's Resident
they
Sleeper.
were banning according.
Yeah. That's Resident Sleeper. I hate seeing those like Bulwark. I mean, I like Molong though, but Bulwark, Molong, Harmonia, that kind of stuff. Amelia, that kind of play, right?
Yeah, okay, but with 1 ban and 1 pre-ban, that you can disrupt that team really hard.
Oh, it was unarmed. I liked watching unarmed try to cleave people. I thought that was fun. It's always fun to see people try to cleave in tournaments because it's a lot harder, I think.
That's like the Japan Cup.
Yeah, they were playing a lot of cleaving, right?
Like cleave versus cleave, like there's only limited units, but they find a way to just cleave each other somehow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they cleave versus cleave, and then after like the first second,
one of the cleave, and with the pre-bans, they're banning out like Bastet. And they still find a way to cleave each other. I don't get it. Like I wish I dream of runes like that.
Like the match like loads in, right? The match like loads in, and as soon as the match loads in, it's like you know already who really is gonna win.
It's over. Yeah.
It's over already from the moment.
Right? Because like for ladder, like imagine how great that would be for ladder. You know what I mean? Like all your wings take like 45 minutes. You do 30 wings in like 45 minutes. Like normally for us, like I don't even run slow comps. I still takes me almost 3 hours to run my wings. Like for people that run slow comps, like the Molly, Vigor, Hathor, it must take like 5 hours to do your wings. Like
it really shows like what happens when you spend and you farm giants for 3 straight years. You don't farm anything else. You just farm giants, and you spend like most of like the higher Japanese players are probably spending 300 to 600 minimum a month, and then just only farming giants, never touching anything else. Like their Swift runes are insane. The guy who had the plus 223 Swift, the Swift Fight Megan, now I think has plus 229. I think it was on his Bastet. It's like that's
plus
just insane.
229.
I think so. It used to be a plus 223 Swift Fight Megan. Swift Fight Megan.
229.
I think it's 229 or 226.
How you fucking 229 on a Megan, man? Megan got like -5 speed, bro. Base. What the?
She's 96, 97.
That's gross. That is so gross.
Hey, Bastet's only 99. It's not that much different.
It's 3 difference, dude. That's big. That's big.
But like, it's plus 225 right now. That's just insane.
That is
I can't even imagine.
The guy in chat just said it's plus 225.
That's just wild.
That's just gross. Yeah, but I mean, especially nowadays though, can you imagine some of the players that are investing like, hey, I want to get faster. Last night I just recorded a video. We did 120 Swift power-ups for purple and legend 6 stars, and the guy was able to farm 100 something of those Swift with speed, because there's so much other stuff you could farm, right? And so many other runes, but Swift, purple and legend 6 stars with speed, he was able to farm 120 in about less than a month. That's insane, is it not?
I
Ridiculous.
believe that because
Did he
I've
get anything?
rolled over
He got a couple
25 of them in
purples.
the
I mean,
last
a couple
4 days.
triples, but it panned out as you expected. X amount, not hitting speed and hitting speed. So yeah, his slot 4 Swift got an upgrade. 22.
I mean, with the GB12 dungeon, I mean, like it makes it a lot more possible. Like that was an impossible dream. Now that it's all 6-star, there is a pretty good chance of getting it.
So you have,
but it's a lot of farming still.
you have B12s. You can craft and you have auto farming, right? So like we just have so much. Like in the last week since auto farming's been out, I think I've gotten 6 triple roll speeds. I got 2 24s yesterday, and I got 3 triple roll speeds in the on Swift.
Yeah,
in the last like, week.
Must be nice.
I know it is. I sat there and I was like, this is the biggest upgrade I've had since when I used to buy reaps. Like these upgrades are bigger than my reaps.
I'm starting to believe I don't play the same game everybody else does.
Yeah, you downloaded the wrong one.
I'm starting to believe I have the wrong version of the game.
The old school
my
version.
My version of Rune stopped at like 23. I never like 24. It is not involved in my version.
Yo, man, you got the right version, bro. You pull all these LD Nat 5s. You're so lucky.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, let's bring it back here for a second. Out of all the different regions, what region did you enjoy the most in terms of the SWC prelims so far?
I kind of did enjoy watching Japanese people play and how they bring out weird stuff to counter cleave and bring cleave, like that guy with Spectra. You know, he was getting a pre-ban and secret weapons. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
True.
And I guess Spectra is super nice when you know your enemy is not running well.
Yeah, I had Sean B on the podcast. And Sean B said Spectra is good and Spectra is amazing when your opponent lives next door and you can peek over and look at his underwear and his runes. Which is true, because it's really good if you know they have no will, but it's really garbage if you don't know your opponent's runes, right? It's like literally the best example ever.
Yeah.
So what region did you like the most in? Looks like Thompson liked the Japanese prelims. How about you, Ulti?
For me, I gotta say NA and Europe, because like the pick ban game was, I think, better than every other region, and also like in-game decision making, like it was on a different level. Korea was pretty solid as well, but the other 2 regions, I think they were lacking pretty hard, especially on the pick ban side.
Right.
So I enjoyed Europe and NA the most.
How about you, Tyler?
In terms of drafting, I think for me it's a tie between JP and EU, because I think the JP and EU players are the most like they like playing things that are very different, generally off meta. They like playing what they like. But in terms of like actual play, I think America's Cup was the most interesting to me. People were very, very technical in the way that they drafted and very technical in like knowing their opponents really well. So I thought that was more enjoyable for me to watch as someone who really enjoys like seeing the analytics side of the game. But for like viewership and enjoyment, just to like have fun and watch crazy stuff, it's definitely JP and EU. I found the Korea Cup to be a little boring for me. It was very like, it felt very standard. But I understand, like at the same time, like the goal is to win, right? The goal is not necessarily to like put up a show for everybody.
That's true.
True. How about you, Pat?
Like I said, I enjoy Europe the most. I mean, I actually saw a lot of different things in Europe this time, and Korea becomes pretty standard because they typically end up going pretty much like with the core of their teams, basically what Tree and Skit are running, right? Whatever Tree and Skit run, like I feel like the rest of them run some variation of it, and it's very good, like I said, but it's just not very appealing to watch, you know.
Right,
That's the biggest thing. Like it's not very exciting watching, you know, Molly and Hathor and stuff like that, you know.
For me, I think all the prelims were garbage because all my guesses were wrong. Fucking event, dude.
What did you get?
I don't know if I can know. But all I know is I'm just watching these matches and like, these are not the guys I picked, man. Fuck me, dude.
But that's
all these
that's a
regions
user
suck,
error,
dude.
right? That's not really
okay. Relax, dude. How the hell do you predict some of those man? Like, what the hell, man?
Well, so some of them I think are like fairly easy to predict, and some of them are like really, really hard to predict. Like you can almost always say that Skit's getting through. Like we just know that there's a very low chance Skit doesn't make it through. Right? When you're it's true, but I feel like when you're somebody who sets the meta, you also know it beats the meta at the same time, right? So like you're able to control that variable better than other people.
Yeah, and you got these stupid noobs that have no idea who these players are, no knowledge, no information at all, and they got way better selection predictions than you because they fucking guessed. Yeah, it's so tilting, man. And they're like,
They're
oh,
like, I like
I
that
got
guy's
this many
name.
points.
That
I'm
guy's
like,
a cool name. Let me vote for him.
like the fact that you have more points than me,
I'm
like,
sure. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing so hot. But I think it's the same thing, right? Everybody gets everything regardless. I think you just get extra energy, right? If you like,
it's just the
better.
pride in guessing it right. That's all it is, right? It's whatever.
I think if you guess everything wrong, you still get all the main rewards. I just think you get more energy if you get extra bonus points.
Yeah.
The only point of the event is to be that one person who got every single prediction right, so you can post it on Reddit.
Yeah, and then everybody's
That's
gonna question
what
how the
everyone
hell
tries
did
to
you
be.
guess that right? Like, how did you even guess that right? Like, that's crazy.
I almost guessed all of Europe right, but then I missed one.
Yo, if somebody guessed everything right, bro, you're a cheater, hands down. You have inside information, bro.
Yeah,
worker.
Or you're Madam Zelda, and you can predict the future or something. Because ain't nobody got everything right.
No, it's that one guy that got all of it right. He used his one time machine transfer to go back in time just to guess all these right when he could have done anything else in the world. He chose to go back to get all the predictions right in some of his work. That's what he wasted his time machine time travel on.
How many points did you guys get in the prediction event?
I can check right now. I didn't even look. Let me check real quick.
I got 1900.
1900. You definitely got more than me, bro. That's definitely more than me. It sounds like it's more than me.
Oh, I got 1500, but I actually missed
17.
One of them.
I got 1750.
I got 1500, but I missed one of them, so that's not too bad.
I feel like a lot of people will have similar numbers to certain streamers just because you can tell like who came to your stream and asked what predictions you picked, and then just pick the exact same things.
Yes, Seishizo was making videos about his picks.
The other problem with predictions too is like you tend to end up picking like people you know, people you watch, people that are your friends. You know what I mean? You can't not pick them. You know what I mean? Like, even if they're not favorite, you like, oh, yo, this guy has no chance to win. You got to pick him because you know him. You know what I mean? Just like as a human.
That's the hardest part about like the NA Cup too. It's like because we all know everyone in the NA Cup. We're just like, who do you vote for?
No, you just vote for the one you think is gonna win, but then you just tell the guy that you're friends with that you voted for him. Duh. He don't gotta know. Ain't nobody gotta know what I picked.
And then they come to your stream and they're like, hey, can you show me your predictions?
Nope.
And you're like,
Nope.
No,
Nope.
it doesn't open. The page is broken.
No,
I got exactly 1800. Is that bad?
No, that's good.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's
like 13 things of energy, I think. It's not bad.
Yeah,
I think anything
really
10 plus is fine. 1500 points and over is good.
It's more energy, man. All right, let's go on to topic number 2. Kind of like segues off really nicely here. It's focusing more on just the SWC Americas Cup, which is coming up, I believe, October 24th, so in about a month from now. Who do you think will make it through, right? Obviously, I think there's like, you know, the winners and the losers are going to play each other. So without knowing the details of like who plays what and the way that a tree would probably and who could be the last two or not, who do you think is going to make it through out of 2, right? We have, let's lay it down again. We have J-Mac, we have Ken Baller, we have Heaves, we have Dreams Joseph, we have Tree, we have Popo Panda, Trokomu, and we have Regeki. Those are the 8 that are there. Wow, I actually named them all right. Okay. Who out of those, who do you think the 2 will make it through? Who do you want to see the 2 that'll make it through? Like if you had to guess. Prediction event, since we talked about it. This is a IslandGrown prediction event. Just choose 2.
I mean, you can't vote against one of Com2uS' babies. That's Tree. You know, you can never vote against that guy. So he's one.
That's one of my votes already, but I mean, it's just because, you know, he's a longtime veteran, right? And Buddy as well. I mean, I'm buddies with everybody, so it's can't use that excuse, right?
I mean, veteran of the game. I mean, veteran of the competition and stuff. That all helps out too, though. You know, that gives you a little bit of an edge over everybody as well.
True.
Being able to stay calm and pick properly, and you know.
So who's your second pick then? Tree
Other one. I'm gonna go with Ken Baller because Pater right now has like the highest win rate in the averages of all the RTA competition. He actually allegedly he surpassed Ragdoll and Hathor in win percentage. So I'd have to give it to Ken Baller because Pater's just Pater, and along with the Pater, he has Ragdoll, and Ragdoll is Jesus. So
True.
Speaking of win rates, Juno has an insanely high win rate right now in the tournaments. Juno's like almost 90%, I think.
Yeah, that's a 87.5%
that has a
win rate
lot
currently.
to do with the fact that like everybody's running the Hathors and stuff like that. Like whenever you're running something that counters the meta, it's either the meta's going to be high or the counter meta is going to be high, you know?
Juno's strength, just like the artifacts, just made her such an insanely strong unit. Like Sierra and Juno are just disgusting.
Think about it. I mean, Praha's actually a unit now after artifacts. Like Praha was not a unit for a long time, and now Praha is actually a unit because of artifacts, because of the multi-hit. Like artifacts really juice certain units up big time.
So what about you, Tyler? Who's your 2 picks then out of them?
I think as much as I want to pick Tree, because I think Tree is a brilliant player, I think that with the units everybody has right now, I think the meta favors Ken, the Pater, and the Bragdoll is huge. Like that's an undeniable combo that is insanely good, and the strength of like his overall rune quality is really high. I think the other pick is actually between JMac and Ricky. I picked JMac because JMac has insanely good Swift runes and has a lot of potential to play both sides, but also has units that fairly do well in the meta. He's got the Han for the speed lead contention and the break of it. Huge damage dealer that's a bruiser. He also has a Miying, which is really good against Molly, really good against Artemil. And then for Ricky, it's the Oberon and Miying combo, but he also has the extra runes to build a really solid Molong team. Like he can transition into it whenever he needs. So I think that like because the meta right now for a lot of the like Asia Pacific players, unless they're cleaving, is to pick something that's like very safe, like Arda, Molly, Vigor, stuff like that with the Hathor and the CC. I think that it really favors Jeff and Ricky for that reason.
Well, I mean, if the Japanese players pick that, it won't affect the America's Cup, right? Because it's only between them.
So I'm saying I think they're going to make it through, and then I think they'll go past that, and I think they'll do well in the finals.
I see. Okay. Gotcha. How about you, Ulti? Who's your 2 for America's Cup? You think that are going to make it through?
I gotta go with the same answer as Tyler. I was also thinking JMac and Ken Bowler. Just the Han is doing great right now, and like I've been following a lot of his react videos, and like I think all of those when they come together, I think they make a crazy rune depth, and I think. Like I was thinking 3 as well, but I think those 2 guys have a good matchup against 3. So if they fight him at any point, I think they have a good chance to knock him out. It will depend quite a lot on like how the matchups are going to be, but I'm going to go with Ken and JMac.
Okay. And how about you, Thompson?
For me, I got to put my vote for JMac, man. He's the guy that beat me, so he's got to win. I'll be like, yo, look, he won the whole thing, man. Yeah, so definitely JMac. You know, he really stepped up his game. And Tree looks really favorable because I play against Tree a lot, and we all do, and he's not easy to beat. But I think the sleeper, Ken obviously is one of the favored as well. Also, I think a sleeper that no one talked about that also has tournament experience is Popo Panda. So he might be able to do some damage as well. So I like those 4. Yeah.
I also think Heaves, because he has a light panda, is also pretty decent sleeper.
Oh, yeah, Heaves is. Yeah, so, I hope Heaves wins too because he beat me, and I was like, "Yo, look, Heaves, he's the deal."
That's funny. Yeah, it's hard.
America's Cup is stacked this year. Like everyone's on a really good playing ground. Like there's not like one player who's notably weaker than everyone else. Like everyone's at a pretty good level, whether it's experience, runes, or like box. I think the only person who has maybe the weaker box is probably Joseph, but Joseph has a lot of experience and pretty good runes.
But Joseph has like Beast Rider power.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, he has Beast Rider power at least.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely really close between all of them. It's not easy to choose specific players that are going to make it through. I think it's really tough. What are you going to say, Ulti? Go
ahead. Tyler, don't you think that Light Panda is weaker in tournament play? Because we had Darkroid or Pinkroid in the EU Cup, and he played, I think, 3 sets, and he couldn't pick it even once because the enemies knew that he had the Panda and just were playing around it.
I think it's good if you don't draft around. Like, if you don't draft around Sierra, you can use it as a force ban against, like, Juno Sierra comps. If you can draft things where it's like you want to pick a Juno, then you can also at the same time have people force ban your Panda, right?
Yeah, I do kind of agree with Ulti. The thing with Tian Lang is, like, he's really good when the time is right for him. When the time he's not one of those you could just force stick in there whenever you feel like it.
He's not a Pater. You don't just like slot
he's not
three
a
that
Pater, he's not a ragdoll, he's not a like you can't just a Yun Hong, it's not like a Gianna where you just pick it any time and you probably have a good chance. So if people know you have it, that's the problem, right? They pre-ban it the first game, then they pick the team that it would counter. And the second game, they can't pre-ban it, so they pick the team that it wouldn't counter. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you could play around it a little more, but it's still a really strong unit. I mean, and the fact that it's on Despair, like whenever it hits one of those 4-man stuns, one of those 2018 Molongs, like that's a game changer. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's honestly a game changer. And
Anything, defense broken on skill 1 and stunned.
Anything that's like has a first skill armor break is very dangerous because it makes anything pretty much one-shottable once your armor broken. Like it really brings the one shot out once you have a free armor breaker. So first turn armor break is a big deal.
Yeah, I think overall Tianlang's a really solid unit, but a lot of people, forget that the fact that your opponents know you have Tianlang is your advantage, right? So like you have units like you said, Patter and Ragdoll. The power comes, you can draft it and you can play it and it works with a lot of comps. But Tianlang, the power is now that you have in your pocket, you have Tianlang. Your opponent has to play a certain way, right? Hey, they're probably gonna pre-ban it. So you go, hey, great, now I got the rest of my whole box, right? Because they're scared of it. Or B, it doesn't get pre-banned, and then you have it in your pocket. They have to be wary constantly throughout the whole pick and ban in their head that you have it. So they have to play a certain way, which gives you the opportunity to kind of predict, the way that they're going to draft and the way they're going to play around it. So I think it's actually really strong for that aspect, but just not. It's more of I guess if you think about it as a passive or active advantage, right? It's a passive advantage more than an active advantage. So I wish I had one. That thing's nuts.
Another cool thing that we don't usually talk about is Despair as a set in general for RTA. Despair obviously feels weaker compared to Violent because Violent is pretty strong, as we all know. But the interesting thing with the meta right now is there's a lot of units that are up there that have like really high resist, or like you can just kind of run a slower bruisery team with the healers that has a resist lead. Despair ignores resistance, so it's actually like pretty. It gains a little bit more strength. Like it's not like this, oh my god, it's overpowered, but like it does have a little bit more relevance in the current meta than before.
So at any point, if you have a Despair unit that stuns, it's game changing. At any point, like not every Violent proc is game changing. Every Despair stun is game changing because you're only using the Despair to stun the unit you need to stun, right?
The best is the Despair Sierras out there right now.
If we're talking about Tianliang, then we put the best Despair set on Tianliang. But if you don't have Tianliang, you just put your best Despair set on
Juno.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying if you have a Juno, right, and you need to stun the Hathor, he's gonna sleep you otherwise, right? So that's why I say every Despair stun that procs is the biggest Despair stun. Like I said, not every proc matters, but every Despair stun matters.
The thing with Tianliang, the higher you climb in RTA, the more you could use him. Because the more you'll face like the Arda, Ragdoll, Sierra Gianna, and stuff like that, and it's really good against that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's like you have Arda? Okay, no problem. Tianlang.
Yeah, and Ragdoll, and like Sierra Gianna a little bit, and depends on how they're built, and also like those just Diana and Bird.
Yeah, Ragdoll is just really scary when you have Bird, Diana, Yun Hong. And, like the Oracle's not as serious as it as you could as it looks like it is, but the other stuff it's like Ragdoll makes monumental problems when you have a Tianlang.
Especially as if you have a Diana as well. It's like you can never pick a Diana if you know that the Tianlang can be picked. You just can never pick it.
The shielding auto attack.
Well, it's not even the shield. Like if you just attack someone that's not Diana, you just cycle your own Tianlang a million times.
All you are is a shielding auto attacker that ruins your own team.
Yeah. I got wrecked by a Despair Sierra today. That was
Despair Sierra is really Despair Revenge Sierra.
Yeah, when it works,
pretty strong actually. Yeah,
when it works, it works. I just still feel like Violent is still the most consistent way to go. But hey, if you got weird stuff ruined like that, when it works, it hits that one off.
You know what? Though? You know what? Violent is
works.
weird to say that, right? Because like the point of Violent Sierra is basically to be a CC'er, right? So if your Despair stuns are stunning, like you're technically doing your job too.
I feel like this way, the Sierra is a unit that could use a lot of stats like attack, HP, defense, and speed. And like if you have a few good ancient runes and you could put it on a Sierra and maximize those stats along with good artifacts with speed on damage, then that's
the only way I would justify it.
The other cool thing with the Despair build is like it frees up your violent runes for like another unit to just have like an insane violent set, right? There's another build that I was talking with Pokemango about yesterday, and he's been running a lot of like really fast units. I think we were talking about it, and he said he's running a 310 speed Swift Sierra. with additional damage by speed. And the chip damage on skill 1 is just disgusting. And when you're at 310 speed, like you're rotating so fast anyways with 45% attack bar.
Sierra sounds garbage
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, that's
So
kind
if
of
you're
that's kind of weird on Pokemango's team because he runs a lot of
Auto rush second turn team.
Ragdoll Artemil, right? So it's
Yeah,
weird. You have a Sierra move really fast.
No,
and then, like,
you know
all of a
why?
sudden-
You know why he runs that though? Is because most of his units are rune like that, and he doesn't use that set, so he's trying it on Sierra. So that it actually makes sense that he's trying it, but I don't think it works. It's gonna work that well for him. But
So
I think
if you're
Sierra, okay, you go first.
if you're 310 speed and you have a vigor that follows afterwards, you're 30% speed buff. If you have no speed increasing effects, 30% speed buff on your like 345 speed Sierra because speed lead in tower. Suddenly your speed is now like 450 range, right? If you have even 2 max rolls with your starting roll is 120% additional damage by speed per roll. So let's assume you just have like 200% because it's a pretty reasonable thing to have in terms of artifacts. 200% of your 450 speed is 900 bonus damage per hit on skill 1, which means every time you skill 1, you're hitting 2.7k without your stats, without hitting any stats from the actual skill itself, just from artifact damage.
the problem
This
is
just-
And that cycles really fast.
This just tells you the power and the efficacy of Sierra. How
Yeah,
you can
she's
ruin it any
wild.
way you want, and it's still good. I remember playing against Feint, and he used like a double revenge will Sierra on me, and it wrecked me. And I slept all his monsters, and then I started hitting the Sierra and started revenging like crazy. I was like, oh my god, I was also will, but it's a will revenge.
that's
you know?
crazy.
Yeah, it's a good monster. You can put it on
Yeah.
a lot of.
That's really good. But
Yeah,
let's be real. Let's be real. He's just praying that Sierra turns into the dark one. That's like
I think everyone's praying for
that's the
that.
same set, right? That's the same set that would be on a Gianna. It's the Sierra one. What are you gonna say, LT? Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing we didn't mention is that when you violent proc after skill 1, you're wasting that attack bar as well. So that's like one utility of despair as well, that you're not wasting any
point.
attack bar.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because you're already getting half a turn technically after you go. So
True. But technically, when you violent, you got the
You still
benefit
get the
of
half
the
a
additional
turn,
turn, and you still get it again, technically.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's pros and cons, right?
I think he's just saying it's inefficient because it lowers your proc chance as well, and it's not like super beneficial unless you're outspeeding the person and putting the bomb before they move, which a lot of the case you are if you get the first turn proc.
True. That's what I was trying to say, yeah.
True. I agree. with that.
Sierra, the insane unit in the game now.
Yeah, dude, you see it.
Nuts.
It's first picked almost every match, especially in Europe. It was in almost every game.
Let's be real. Any unit with multi hits is very good right now. Let's just be real. To a certain extent, I mean, USA.
Okeanos is
Oh
like
my god, Okeanos is gross, dude. Have you seen a decked out Okeanos with additional damage? That thing not on crit damage, just decked out with HP defense and speed and with additional damage. It's so gross, dude. The damage
same
is so
percentage
gross.
I just said, right? It's 4 to 6 hits per hit. So like, imagine that with your bonus speed and a speed buff. Like
Gross.
Savannah into Oki skill 3. GG, you instantly kill the enemy even if you're not on crit damage.
Yeah, and
Dude.
even if you don't defense break, your opponent's like,
You
"What
don't
the
need
fuck
to
is my
defense.
health, dude?"
Yeah.
Because additional damage. Remember we did the video on it. It's like ignore defense. I don't give a crap, dude.
I remember the days when
It's
Fire Monkey
ridiculous.
King used to be pretty good against Oki. Now Oki just like ends his dreams because he does so much damage to him.
I don't think that's true. I think Fire Monkey still counters the Oki, but yeah, it's not that crazy.
If you're hitting
Tyler.
4 to 6 times at 200% speed, that's a bonus of at least 600 damage per hit, right?
I understand, but Fire Monkey gets artifacts too, man. Like
True.
recovery on. Yeah,
True.
come on.
I actually want them to change Fire Monkey King, but we can talk about this during like buffs and nerfs. I think the
Sure.
recovery in a skill 2 isn't good enough the way it is. I think it should be better.
All right, let's actually hop over to topic number 3 then real quick. Topic number 3 that I have here is kind of like recent updates and like quality of life suggestions that you have for the game, right? How you enjoying the new update? Is there any things that you've seen that you're playing that you were like change, right? That would make your life easier as you're playing. But I think Tyler, you had a suggestion on quality of life. If you want to bring it up here, feel free to do so.
1 second. I need to check something numbers wise.
Okay. But yeah, how's it been for you, Ulti, so far with the repeat battler and whatnot? It's been nice.
Dude, I love it. Like even in the rehearsals for the EU Cup, I was just farming on the side. It's just so good. Like a couple of the things are amazing. Like when I'm washing the dishes or like when I'm taking a shower, like that. Knowing that the game is still running in the back. I don't know. It just makes me feel better. I like it. But one thing that was kind of sad was the update hit, and then 2 days later TOA reset, and then through doing TOA every manually every stage was like after like getting
bad,
that
right?
feeling for 2 days, yeah. So one suggestion from my side would be like, I think I've seen it everywhere, like maybe having the option to do TOA, and maybe Dimensional Hall would be pretty cool.
Right, TOA, some people are saying like 10 stages at a time, right, or something like that. And if you had the team for it, it should just clear it. If you have the team for it, because you still gotta have the team for it, right?
Wait, but then I can't race TOA anymore. If you auto clear it, I can like.
No, you can still do the normal one to get top 100, or you can choose to do the auto 10x, right? Or you can manual it because I think you have to still manual. There's no way you can.
You'll still be faster if you're doing the.
So what I thought you said, Brian, was if you've already cleared it, you can just insta clear it. I was like,
oh no, hell no.
Yeah, if you mean like auto 10 stages at a time, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
You actually physically do it still. Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I don't see a problem in giving them the option at least.
I think the auto farm thing, the one thing it did for me personally is it gave me like some heart to actually clear up some space, because now I could just farm and actually clear shit. Like, normally I just farm like a bunch of runes and then just power them all up at one time, you know what I mean? And then just fail all of them at one time. Now I fail them slowly. But it gives me heart to clear artifacts, heart to clear runes. So I like that. But the thing I don't like is the fact that it stops if you wipe. I don't think it should stop if you wipe.
Just get good, bro. The fuck?
No, and it's okay if it stops if you wipe, but it should let you know. You know what I mean? Because if you're in the middle of doing something, you have no idea that it stopped or it was going.
They should put the chat icon inside of the
room
manager so you can see.
Say like you shit the bed. You know what I mean? It's okay. Let me stop and start it over again.
Okay.
Versus like you keep just doing runes. You think you have 10 runs. You have 10, 15 minutes or whatever it is to do it. Meanwhile, you failed the first run and you're just wasting 10, 15 minutes.
I think there is something in there where it like vibrates if the run finishes or vibrates if it fails. But if you don't have it on, then you wouldn't feel it, as well as there's a sound. But I mean, we can't
use it on
sound,
a tablet
right?
either.
Yeah,
can't use it on a tablet, can't use it on BlueStacks.
It will give you like a ping when you have sound in there that it failed. But maybe if they give you like a pop-up, right? Like complete, and you press OK or something, so you know. That would be kind of cool.
It should be a pop-up. If they're gonna stop you if you fail, it should be a pop-up, or it should be an option to click where it's like ignore failed attempts. You know what I mean? So I don't see a big deal. Like, okay, it failed. You're going to not do it anymore. You're still going to do it. I just think it shouldn't stop, though, if it fails.
Oh, that's a really good suggestion in chat. What if we had 10 auto RTA AFK matches so we could AFK our RTA matches 10 at a time? That's a great suggestion. Let's definitely take that in. I think that should be on the top of the list right here.
You can just press start and press the X button.
Just does all 30 of your wings. Perfect. Right, and then everybody's just farming, and then after that, nobody plays RTA ever again, but we all get points and get the skins. That's Pog. All right, sounds good. Great suggestion.
Oh, you're going to lose every match. You might as well just press start and then press the X, and press start and press the X, and press start and press the X. You're going to lose all 10 if you auto regardless, so why does it matter?
Let's see here. What else was the update on? Artifacts. Okay, let me ask you this, Topsy, real quick before we go to Tyler. Since you were an SWC contestant, how amazing has it been so far with the artifact management, right? Because you know how it was to gear up all your units with the artifacts. You had to plan everything and do everything. How cruddy was that compared to now? Like, how good was this artifact management? Any suggestions for it?
Oh, huge upgrade. No, it's good. It's at a good place right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Definitely a big deal. It's definitely a big deal. Like, much easier to find shit if you're really trying to find one specific stat. I think the list is a little long though. I think they should just get rid of some of the pointless stats for now. There's a lot of stats that are useless. But I'm not saying it should get rid of all the useless ones, because then everything will be every artifact will be overpowered. But some of the stuff is like really useless, and like it really needs to go. And it would shorten the list and make quality of life a lot easier,
or just make those stats better, like just upgrade their value.
But that drop down menu is so long, dude. Like, it's really long, man.
I like that you can sort through it at least. Like, you can sort by like type of whatever it is. It's not
that helps
the end of the world.
Yeah, that helps a lot. No, it's not bad. I'm not complaining. It's really good. It's much better than what it was. I'm happy about it. It's just a simple idea.
But there's room for improvement. It's so new. There's so much room for improvement.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly.
You're right.
Also, I don't know if I'm using the artifact manager wrong, but is there a way to sort by like highest to lowest of a specific stat? So like if I sort by skill to accuracy, will it actually show like highest to lowest, left to right, like it normally does when you sort by speed?
Right now it sorts it by highest to lowest power-ups. That's what it.
Yeah,
kinda
see,
does.
see
That's
what I
That's
want
it.
is I want the substat. Like if I sort by
like that.
skill 2 accuracy,
that's not
I want to
bad.
see my
I like that.
21 accuracy and then my 18 and then my 17 and then my 15 and then my 13. Like
There
I don't
isn't,
want to
but
have to
what I
click every
do-
single one of them.
Right.
There isn't, but what I do is I plug it in the swap, and then I just like look down on where the rune's at. And
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you could use it. Everyone says you can. I just like I've
You
like
can.
fucked it up twice, I think.
Yeah, Tyler.
I-
obviously, we all knew that if you could. Fuck, dude, you play the game,
I'm
bro?
pretty sure you can. I just checked it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just have
yeah.
to choose sub property and in the drop down menu instead of grade, and then it sorts it by the sub property that you chose.
Nice.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I already had it sorted by sub property. I took it off, I put it back on, and now it works. I think I just broke my game the first time.
Oh,
I
maybe
did
it could be a glitch. It could be a glitch. Then you have to like, it's
I
one
don't
of
know.
the
I
things
might
you
have had it
turn
from
off,
I might have
on.
had it from like the first day or something, but I've had it on sub property the whole time because it's always been on that. I never change it off anything else unless it's runes.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right,
I'm just Pepega.
All right, your turn, Tyler. Go ahead and give us your quality of life suggestion. There's something you want to kind of bring up or
Okay.
whatnot. What is that?
Quality of life suggestion. It has a little bit of relevance to us, but not really. It's mostly for like the quality of life of the game and especially newer players, newer and mid-game players. I think that there should be 4-star blessings in every single event. I think every single event should give you a bonus item on top of what they currently give you that's a 4-star blessing. The reason I think this is because 4 stars are not really that meta impacting when it comes to like RTA or anything. So they don't break the game. They don't break any sort of like monetary gain that the game gets. And I also think that we should increase the 4-star rate from summons from 8% to 11 or 10.5. And the reason I think this is because it's so impossibly difficult to get 4-star skill ups for most players, and they're not giving 4-star devilmons, and it's a waste to use regular devilmon for 4 stars, and we don't get events that allow you to skill 4 stars very often.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think we
that-
need. I don't think we need a higher lightning chance, but I think the 4-star Devilmon thing should be a thing because, like, for
Same.
for lower players or players that don't really pay like crazy, like it's really hard to skill a 4-star. I have a perfect example. Like my wife's account, she won't let me spend $1 on it. She don't spend $1 on it, And I just look at her units and like she's just playing. I look at the unit again and it still has no skill ups. I look at it again months later, has like 2 skill ups. You know what I mean? It's like impossible.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
agree with that.
impossible, like without spending big, without the 4-star Devilmons. Like I really think, because 4 stars are very important. Like when you get your first Lucian, you get twins. Like skill ups make a big difference on units. Like monumental difference. Like a unit is not really a unit until you skill it up. And I don't know if I'm saying that because we're spoiled by it and we have all the all the tools to make it that way. But like playing with the unit that's not Devilmon is just not
Garbage.
there, and it's just not there.
It doesn't
It
feel
doesn't
good.
even feel like it's the same unit. You know what I mean? That's all. Like I
So-
think that really need to help the lower guys.
I think for free-to-play players, a lot of the HOH really helps them with the 4-star double mining, and all you have to
I
do is
still
like
hope so.
skip.
Yeah.
All you have to do is like skip like 2 or 3 HOH, and you're so far behind.
So I think that the push for 4-star Devilmons that we've been doing for a while. I know that Com2uS just has something with Devilmons. They just have something with it. They don't like to give it out very often. They're very a little bit more stingy with it, a little tight with it, right? So I understand that, but I really hope that they see that 4-star Devilmons is very important. Secondly, the idea of 4-star blessings, I like it, right? Whether they maybe implement it in something we suggested before, Tyler, which was like that weekly or monthly change, login rewards. Maybe we can get
I
them
want
more
login
there.
rewards or weekly, monthly quests to do.
Maybe a little bit more frequently in the events. Maybe not every event, but maybe more frequently through events to increase gameplay would be really nice. Option maybe ancient coins to maybe get 4-star blessings would be really nice. But the one thing I will disagree is increasing the rates. Something that Summoners has done, which I would like to give them credit for because they're really smart about it, is not changing the rates. Now you're like, what the fuck, Island? Right?
I'm
Like,
saying don't
not
change
change-
the 5-star rates. I'm saying that the 4-star rates
Okay, wait.
are perfectly fine to adjust, right?
Well, but what was I saying? I think what Com2uS has done is really nice, and you're probably like, Islander, what the fuck, man? Like, don't you want more Nat 5s and Nat 4s? I do, but I think the way that they tackled the rates has been a very, very good approach in the last 3 years. And the way they tackled the rates is by giving you more summons, right? It doesn't take away from the initial base probability of getting that 5. So like we talked about the other week of grinds and gems, right? Not changing the structure of how it is, but by giving us more, right? Through events and resources and TOA and just random scrolls, right? 6-year anniversary, 100 scrolls, right? Regardless of results, because people always complain. I think taking it that route and giving us more, keeping the rates the same, it was a way better approach in the last couple of years. That's my opinion though, from what I've seen. Right, I think it causes less problems that way.
And I kind of agree with that, IslandGrown, because like as fun as it is to get lightning, it's just as fun to summon more scrolls. You know what I mean? So like, I think that giving people more scrolls versus increasing the rates just gives people more fun. You know, more things. Like, I mean, I know you probably notice it the most, being that you summon for so many people. Like, people could save up so much more. Yeah. Even some of your free to play guys, viewers. You know, like. Their monthly save up or half a year save up or 1 year birthday summons, like they're so much bigger because the game's given them so many more scrolls. And like, I think the more scrolls there are, it's just more fun for people to actually have a chance to click them. You know, like nobody besides you maybe gets bored of pressing summon. You know what I mean? Like it's a fun thing. You know, it's like I said, it's called Summoner's War. You know, it's not called Farmville. So you got to summon in this game. You know what I mean? I think that I really like how they let a lot of the free to play guys or the lower pay guys a lot of opportunities to actually summon. Whether they get something or not, that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? But to physically be able to summon is, I think it's amazing. Like to have so many scrolls to summon is amazing.
That was like really so smart, because I think the easy fix would have been like, hey, let's just change the rates, right? That's the easy fix. So taking this approach, in my opinion, was way better. And I can say from experience for what I've summoned for other viewers, I have a couple viewers that come back once a year for summons with me, full free to play. And the amount of summons they have is literally mind-boggling. Like, it's like 1,000-something regular scrolls, like 50 to 80 LDs. We're talking like 40, 50 legendaries.
You would think they spent money when you say it.
Like, it's unbelievable, but it's the same guys every year that come back. And when you look at the accounts, you can see that they are literally free to play. And this is them farming, playing the game. Wow. I don't know how they save for the whole year without summoning. Like, that just blows my freaking mind, though. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, like,
but that's impressive.
But it's crazy. It's actually crazy how much you get free to play. And if anything, if we want that stuff, I mean, like I said, the 4-star devilmon, 4-star blessings, and maybe we could push them a little bit more to give a little bit more summons, right? The resources. I think that would be the best way.
4-star blessings definitely has to be part of it too, because like I said, my wife literally, like, she just got a Lucian. You know what I'm saying? Like she just got it like 2 weeks ago. You know, it's crazy. You know, I mean, like I said, she's free to play, completely. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the game gives you a lot of scrolls. Like she saves up a lot of crystals and stuff, like she summons, but to have a blessing is such a better feeling, because when sometimes you're just chasing that one unit that's game changing, Lucian, Shayna, those are game changing 4-stars that, like, if you get those, your whole world is, your whole world is changed.
Yeah, but it's understandable, right?
The about 4-star blessing is like, imagine you have a 5-star blessing and a 4-star blessing. When you do get the 4-star blessing, 5-star, just
that's why I think that it should be optional to get, like Brian was saying, like with ancient coins or whatever it is. Like, you don't have to buy it if you don't want them. Like, I would never have to buy one because I don't need one, right? But at the same time, it'd be pretty cool. Let's say a new 4-star came out that's like really good, like Chun-Li, right? And you need to skill her up, like to be able to have an extra chance to get a skill up is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, and also I don't mind if they increase the 4-star rates, but then hopefully they don't increase the fake 4-star rates as well, because that would be
theoretically they would be higher, right?
Yeah, exactly, right.
But it would be it would be so insignificant that it doesn't, because the chance of actually getting a fake 5 is really low.
Even if it's insignificant, if you summon like 500 scrolls or like 600 scrolls,
I had like a really good streak at one point where it was almost 2 years I didn't get a fake 5. But the first 2 years I played, I got like no joke, like 40 something. Like, I got a lot of them, but that was like a 2-year streak. I actually, like, part of my mind thought, I was like, I'm immune to these things now, Like, I thought they were gone from my system.
Like, the one thing I understand is when players do summons and you get nothing, right? You get unlucky and you get nothing. That feeling sucks. You know what I mean? And then that's the same people that go like, oh, the rate should be changed and whatnot. But then when it comes down to it, it's like you're making a decision on whether rates and things should be changed in the game based upon your one instance or your feeling. So you know what I wanted to do is, I don't know if there's some videos or some information, but I would like that information to be more widely spread in the community about what we actually get free to play. Like, what is the nitty gritty? What do we actually get free to play? Early game player, like, lay it down, let everybody know. And then after that, I want to see the same people say, hey, you know what? This is unfair. We need more, right? Because then that's where I want to go. Because right now I feel like a lot of times when I get the criticism or I get some of the feedback, hey, Ali, can you ask Com2uS to give better rates and whatnot? they're not giving me these criticisms based upon like actual mathematical or actual data that they have of what they have. It's just on their gut feeling of, I just had a bad summon session, right? And that to me is like not enough to ask for, you know, a change. If the rates are that bad, if we don't get enough, let's fucking ask for more rates. Let's get more Nat 5s, right? But I want to know the actual nitty gritty, actual details. That's most important to me, right?
A lot of people also have the facts very skewed. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah.
A lot of people have the facts actually skewed because, like, I'm in those Facebook, you know, Summoners World groups too, and like people will post up and go, "Oh, I just did 80 scrolls and I didn't get a Nat 5. Or I just did 25 scrolls and I didn't get a Nat 5." It's like, yo, like, you know,
first of all,
it's not supposed to happen, you know.
Patrick got the worst case of FOMO.
Here we
Okay,
go.
that's first of all, right? Like, but second thing, like, Com2uS makes money from Patrick in this way. Like, whenever Patrick doesn't get anything or he say his rates are bad, that's where the term brute force comes in play, and he just like brute force. So, you know.
But the thing is, the probabilities he's going for is always very small. Like, I need this new Nat 5 or this new thing, so you're gonna have to brute
right
force
now.
it every time.
I'm missing Fire and Win Ryu, right? And regardless if they're good or not, my goal is to get them.
Oh,
so I will
right.
get the Street Fighter scrolls, and when I get the next month's Street Fighter scrolls, if I don't get them, I will be brute forcing until I get them, probably from now until the end of October. So I will get them. I think. I hope. I don't know. If I don't, then I don't know what to do with myself. But I will try my best to get them, whether they're good or not. Obviously, the goal is the light and dark ones if possible, you know. But I don't necessarily need to have all of them. But it's kind of like, why not? You know, it's kind of like a limited time offer kind of thing. You know, like, why are you not going to jump on a limited time opportunity?
Right. What about you, Ulti? We didn't get a chance to ask you on your thoughts on like summons and whatnot as a player as well. How do you feel about it? And some of these 4-star blessings, do you think they should happen, or what do you feel? But
all the 4-star stuff that you guys have been talking about, I totally agree. Like, the first thing that came into my mind is Fire String Master. I summoned her from this free String Master scroll, and like, so it was a while ago, and she's still not max skilled. And I was actually really excited to play with her because, you know, I'm using Ciara, Diana, and stuff like that, and Hertide and stuff. They kind of go with her, you know, she gives them buffs every turn and stuff like that, you know. But I couldn't utilize it for now how many months. So I think it would be pretty cool to have the option to, you know, focus on one unit and then max it out. And we're all in high guilds, right? High level guilds. So you cannot put a unit on siege defense without skill ups at that level also. So it also limits you quite a lot in that sense. So I agree with all the Net 4 talk. I also don't think that the rates should be touched because like that satisfaction you get from Lightning, and like this might sound weird because I'm a Com2uS employee, but I always also think about it as a player as well, because for 2 years I was a player, like before I started working. So, and I still have that mentality as well. Like the thing you get from a Lightning is because it's kind of rare, you know. And if like in the beginning it might feel amazing if you get more Lightnings, but then you'll get used to that, and then maybe things will get stale and then you'll get bored of it. So I think they're being very careful about it, and I think it makes sense that they're being very careful about it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a very good point.
In 3-1, right? Me, Patrick, and Tyler thinks we should increase the Nat 4 Lightning.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Patrick,
Also, it's 2 on 3.
It's 2 to 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm 100% Team Tyler on this one. All right.
I just think that they need. I just think they really need the Devilmon thing.
Tyler,
really
back your statement up, man.
All
right, they really need
it's time to back up the statement.
They really need the 4-star Devilmons.
All right, go ahead, Tyler.
So Brian, you brought up a point about people talking from their experience, right?
Yeah.
Saying like, you know, I didn't get anything. We need to increase the rates.
Yeah.
I am not talking from that perspective at all, right? I'm talking from an analytic perspective where I sit there and I look at everything that goes on, all the people who summon. I watch your stream. I watch you summon for tons of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit there and I look at all these new players and like early game and mid game players, because that's what I do. I give advice on my stream on how people can progress. And I look at people's units. I'm like, that's not skilled. That doesn't work on siege defense. That's not skilled. That's not going to work on offense. That's not skilled. Can't use it on RTA. And I sit there and I think, this guy's been playing for 1,500 days. Spends probably $100 a month and is still missing like 12 Nat 4s. And that's the perspective for why I think the blessings come in, because the blessings coming in allow you to get the 4-star units, which are not meta breaking, they don't
agree.
have super significant impact to RTA, and they make the game actually playable. Because even if you have like skill ups for it, if you don't have the Triana, you're going to struggle against the Com2uS Odin teams, right? If you don't have the, like Com2uS, you're going to struggle to build almost any siege defense that's 4 stars unless you're Galleon Clara everything, right? That's why I think that the blessing should exist. However, I disagree that they should exist as an ancient coin metric. The reason I think that they should be event-based is because they're adding something to the game without taking away something else. Forcing a player to choose between a reappraisal stone and a 4-star blessing is an obvious answer to us. We pick the reap because the reap is worth so much, right? But to that other player, it's like that reap could be progression, or it's like, do I have to take the blessing? I think that potential skill up is just a good gesture for everyone as they introduce more and more monsters into the game. I do agree that they're being generous, right? They are giving us more. We get events where when a new 4-star family comes out, we can skill it. We can skill one of them like 5 times or something, right? But you also have to keep in mind most of those families need 13 skill, like between 9 and 14 skill ups per unit, and usually 1 or 2 of them is good enough that you want to skill it, right? Even now, since the String Masters have come out, I've summoned almost like 1,700 scrolls. I can't even max skill 1 String Master.
Tyler, I got you. I know how to get them all on our side. I just
let me respond back. Let me respond back first. So with Tyler, I do agree. So what you're saying is right. Everything that you said, I mean, I wasn't disagreeing with you. The only thing I disagree is the rate up. Asking for a higher rate for 4 stars. I disagree with that. Blessings, okay. 4-star devilmon, great. I'm all on board and everything. And in terms of the ancient coin suggestion, the ancient coin suggestion was just a suggestion, right? I put it in line with, the login stuff as well. Just some way, somewhere, I don't know the details on it, where they can get ancient 4-star blessings. That's it. That was my suggestion. But yeah, going into the nitty-gritty details, ancient coins might not be the best route. You might be right on that. But only thing I disagree is increasing 4-star rates. That's it.
So, but your argument for increasing 4-star rates was that I don't even remember what it was at this point. It felt like
I remember what Ulti said. Ulti brought up a lot of really good points about why he shouldn't increase 4-star rates. If Ulti, you could say it again, that'll be really
so
cool.
I think it could even work if you increase the rates, but I think if you do both of them, then you have another problem where then there's a lot of 4 stars suddenly being introduced to everyone's inventories. And then, for example, some units like the Undines, for example, like you're gonna max 1 or 2 of them, and then you have just a lot of leftover Undines, and then imagine like how much clutter you're gonna be having in your inbox. And maybe that's not gonna happen in 2 months, but all of us are now thinking at least we're gonna be playing this game for a couple more years, right? I mean, realistically speaking, at least from my perspective. And like over those times, I think like adding both these things now would like kind of make them both less in value and also like have a big clutter of net 4s in your.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you said. That's what I thought you said.
He also said it would take away from the feeling of.
I also said it would take away from the feeling of
excitement.
Because like I'll give an example to this. Like I come from Istanbul. It's a huge city. It might take you like an hour and a half to get somewhere. Like it's very normal, it would take me an hour and a half to drive to my friend's place. And then I moved to Bremen, to a tiny campus, and the furthest distance would be like 10 minutes on foot. And like after a year of spending time in that campus, like that 10-minute distance felt like so much to me, because you just adjust to like these changes. And then I think it would be the same. You would adjust to like, I don't know, getting 1 lightning every 8 summons on average, and then once you get used to that, maybe like it takes away from like the amount of fun that you're having.
Okay, so your arguments are the dopamine rush, the dopamine rush of pulling a lightning, right? That's argument 1, and then argument 2 is the clutter and the uselessness of it.
Not the dopamine rush per se, but more so the value of a lightning in a way.
Yeah. So it kind of goes back to like what we had a discussion last week on the podcast, or the other week on podcast, about grinds and gems. We kind of talked about that, and maybe allowing it so that after you grind and gem, your next grind and gem can only be X amount depending on what you hit. And then you guys were saying don't change the process of it because it would devalue something, right? So kind of going back here, how long have summons have been out, right? So changing it might devalue the way summons are. Instead, we give another suggestion that, of course, increasing, giving us more scrolls, which doesn't change the base of what the game was built on and how it is, right? Is kind of one of the arguments as well.
Yeah. So I don't think that you're wrong when you say like these are valid reasons. I do want to counter them because I think that it's worth the discussion point of it. This is a topic that I don't usually push because I don't like increased rates, but I actually don't. And I spent a lot of time thinking about this and discussing with people, but I don't think that increasing 4-star rates has any actual significant impact on the longevity of the game or like has any negative effect on the game, right? Increasing 5-star rates and adding pity oftentimes puts games in a position where people can get everything too easily, and then the games get boring, right? Or the games become easily pay to win because everything has the specific price tag, right? In Epic 7, you want a unit, $300 you want a unit. You want an LD Nat 5 that comes out, it's new, $700. You know exactly what those price tags are,
True.
Right? With an 8% Nat 4 rate currently, and a 0.5% Nat 5 rate, increasing the Nat 4 rate to 9.5% puts the lightning rate at 1 in 10 in average, right? Does that make sense? Because the 4 and 5-star would equal 10%.
Sure, of the math. So you're just saying 1 in 12
right.
to
versus
1 in 10.
Versus the 1 in 12. Or even if you made it like 1 in 11 or a little bit closer. That tiny little bit of increase to the Nat 4 rate increases the quality of life of players potentially by a significant amount. Now that with the blessings, which is a separate point, would be amazing for people, right? It would help out so many players without taking away too much from the game. Also, as the game continues to add more syncs to Nat 4s, we have conversion stones, we have legendary piece conversions. The more syncs you add to the game, I think it's perfectly fine and acceptable to also implement a higher chance to get things to give you that, right? Like if I'm free to play, and I like to summon, I'm probably but I also like to play the game. I have to choose between the extra 30-dimensional whole energy a week, or do I want a premium pack 2, right? It's the distribution of your crystals, the distribution of your resources. In this sense, your distribution of resources comes down to your 4 stars. It's like, do I want to use these for conversion stones, or do I want to use these for legendary pieces, or can I just never use them for either of them, right?
I think
obviously the easy answer is Devilmon. I won't deny that. The easy answer is just give us 4-star Devilmon. But from what I can see, it doesn't look like they're giving us that, and it's not going to happen.
Okay, so what I will say though is, I mean, you gave a lot there, but what I will say though is the reason why is, can you name a single game out there that has changed any of their base rates ever in their mobile game?
Epic 7.
I think their base rates were changed.
They changed all the base rates.
The base rates were changed, or they just added in LDs into the other summons?
No, they completely reworked all the base summon rates for when that happened.
Well, the reason is because we don't have the expertise of like the PR, right? Because I'm not an expert as well, right? There could be implications of PR issues by changing the things. You see what I'm saying? Like even changing 1%, you give the community and you give everybody the feeling that, hey, now that you do it, you can do more of these things, right? Once you start doing that. I just don't see a lot of games doing that. So I don't like the approach of changing the base summons.
The problem with changing the rates is that you guys actually believe it actually changes the rates.
Yeah, because changing 1% might not do anything.
Or you're not going to get it. That's how this game works. It has nothing to do with the rates. I can go back in history and the rates will never be right on anybody's account.
Segueing to the big point I want to get to.
That's not how rates and odds work, though. Like that. That's applying a bro science to it. That's not how the math checks out.
Okay, but like getting to my main point here is that to change the rates or to fix the problem, right? Because we agree the problem right now, can we agree with this, is that there's 4 stars that people cannot get skilled up, so they can't really use them. That sucks, right? So that's the problem we're trying to fix, right? I think that changing the rates of the 4 stars does not fix that problem at all. Even if you were to go from 12% to a 1 in 12 to 1 in 10 to 1 in 8, it doesn't. Because the permutations of probabilities of how many different 4 stars you're going to get to actually get enough skill up solutions to actually skill up, you would need to have to increase the rates significantly. Yeah, or pinpoint specific Nat 4s to be summoned to get that. Because you can go from 1 in 12 to 1 in 10, but you're still going to summon a billion scrolls to get 10 scrolls to like 50 million. You know what I mean? Like the probability doesn't help it that much, I feel. That's why I'm saying that, this percent change in, of course, I'm all for getting more Nat 4s and Nat 5s. Shoot, I got a lot of Nat 4s I want to skill up, right? But is it healthy for the game? Will this change do a big, will actually fix the problem? I feel like it won't actually fix the problem.
That's why the biggest problem fixer would be, obviously, like Tyler said, the easiest fix would be Devilmons, right?
Yes.
For 4 stars.
But he's losing hope. He's losing hope. That's a lie, The
second thing is blessings. Like, blessings do make a big difference for that. Without a doubt, I do agree with the blessings. I also agree with what Tyler said. Like, it shouldn't be a choice. It should just be an extra bonus versus like you have to sacrifice something to get something, because it's like, what are you really gaining then in the end, right? If that's the case, you actually might be losing more if you do that. But yeah, the biggest thing is like, I don't think the rate change is going to solve the problem. Obviously, people that don't summon a lot or have had bad luck are always going to be like, oh, let's get the rate change, And the people that have gotten a lot or thinks it's normal is going to say, no, leave the rates the way they are. It's an argument that's going to go half and half at all times.
It's very subjective.
It's a very subjective argument, but I definitely think they need to do something because, like I said, I know a lot of free-to-play guys. I know a lot of guys that just play for fun, whatever it is. And, like, it sucks, you know what I mean? It really sucks to just have a unit, like, get something really cool. Like, let's say, forget about, like, Ulti said his Fire String Master, right? Let's say something really cool, like a Molly, But you can never skill up the Molly now. You know what I mean?
Right, but
like they make an LD really special, really good that you have. You can never skill it up. Like, that's why you need the devilmon.
So low key, actually, Tyler's just trying to get his Amarna on his account. I see what you're doing there, Tyler.
I already have an Amarna.
Oh, how about Molly?
I have 2 Mollies.
End of the day, I'm very
as well.
I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about this.
That's where all your LD luck went. Sorry, Brian.
No. I'm very passionate because I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. That the main problem is you're trying to skill up 4s, and I'm telling you right now, there's no subjective. Changing the rates.
I'm not trying to skill up 4s. I don't care. I can skill up 4s all I want. I'm looking from the player perspective of like
not you. No, I'm saying that's
Brian,
the goal.
He's trying to get me a Molly. All right, let the brother do his thing.
I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
There's a Com2uS employee here. Let the brother do his thing, man. It's not. It's behind all the politics and all the stuff going on. There's another thing to it.
Okay, I'm just trying to get my point across here that we're trying to better the rate of so people can get things skilled up. Is that the main point of the whole discussion here? There's no other discussion, right? Trying to do it. I'm letting you know right now, changing the rates does nothing. There's no subjective. It does not help that at all. It doesn't help it even close to a reasonable amount that would be feasible to suggest. Let's say that. If you want to change the rates because we want to get more nat 5s and stuff, okay, I'd be like, all right, maybe, that's a different discussion. But the main discussion here is just getting the units so that we can have 4 stars and be able to use them and have them skilled up because it feels crappy to have illusion without skill ups. The rate change is not going to solve that. You have to go more the route of the blessings.
I said to do that without changing the 5-star rate. And so you guys suggested instead to give people more summons, right? You just suggested we should give people more summons if that's something that I want to do, correct?
Right.
By giving people more summons, you are 100% increasing the rate at which 5 stars are summoned.
Yes, but without changing the baseline, right? What?
But what I'm saying is not doing that. I'm not making a change to the game that actually has more game impact.
But to be fair, Tyler, the fact that they've increased the amount of scrolls, like 3 stars mean a lot to early and free-to-play players too, Like when we summon, right, we just eat all the 3 stars, right? Probably eat most of the 4 stars just straight up, as food. But like, free-to-play players level up 2 stars. Some even may level up 1 stars and make them into 2 stars to make them into 3 stars as food, Like extra summons goes a long way in that sense for people. Like extra fodder, because the game gives a lot of rainbow mons, so extra 3 stars to make your 3-star mons into 4s. Like the fact there's extra summons, it's kind of a big deal for free players and early players.
Yeah.
Versus having to use those unknown scrolls for everything,
I know. I just see a problem and just trying to tackle the problem, right? Trying to get people skill
I think I'm being labeled in a weird light here. I'm being labeled as someone who is like thinking that the rates are bad in this game. I think the rates are really good in this game, and I think that the rates for 5 stars are chat is very, very egregiously pushing me on the perspective.
Oh, chat says a bunch of things, man. I don't ever reach out when you
but it's important to clarify that I firmly push and believe that the rate at 5 stars in this game is really good, which is why I very specifically said twice during this discussion I want to make a change to the amount of 4 stars that people get without impacting the rate at which people get 5 stars, because the rate at which people get 5 stars is significantly what impacts the strength and diversity of people's accounts. And I'm not even saying increase LD rates or add pity or anything. Like, I've done 600 scrolls, no LD nat 5. I don't complain about like rates because I think rates are fine. I just think that we need to get people 4-star skill ups, and blessings is the first option, and I think the one that actually has to go through. But I think that if they want to add something else that would be good, increasing the 4-star rate doesn't have a strong negative impact on the game. I'm not saying it fixes a problem. I'm not even saying that there is necessarily a problem. I'm saying it's a good gesture and it's a good direction that the game could take if they want to do something good for the community. I think that's the big difference. Is I'm not looking at it as I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm looking at it as how can the game get a better PR light without making a bad change to the game. Something that negatively impacts them.
That can be a bad PR light, man. Changing the base rate, man. That's big. Even though it may, like, from our expertise and what we think, it like doesn't it, like, when we talk about certain topics, right? When you talk about certain things in your life, when there's like, especially because this game, it means a lot to us, right? There's certain things that you talk about that you're like, oh, there's a little red flag, right? Doesn't that give you a red flag when you think about it?
Changing it gives me a green flag. Absolutely. The only if tomorrow, Nat 4 race is coming up, I'm buying all the LD scrolls and trying to summon a Molly, man. Green flag all the way.
This man be really trying to get a Molly. It's okay. I mean, I like these discussions because then there's differences in opinions, you know, and that's I like that. I'm able to actually be, you know, I actually find that I'm actually on the opposite end, but I'm really just trying to be able to see it, right? Because I want to see it from your view as well.
And I'm definitely pushing past like where my initial stance sits because I think the discussion is good and a lot of people are interested in hearing about this.
We just want more for the game.
Do you have a Molly, Brian?
I do not.
Do you want one?
Yes, I also want a Nefties. I also want a Gianna.
Oh,
I also want a Savannah.
Everybody thinks that Thompson's summoning LDs because he wants another Nat 5. He's just trying to get Molly. The Nat 5s are coming by accident.
Yes.
It'll happen.
I'm missing a lot of 4s though too. I'm missing like a lot of good ones. So I have no twins besides the free one. I have no Wadam. I have no Amarna. I just like the Molly and Beta are fairly new. Yeah, I have no Faye, if you consider Faye a good one. Yeah, I'm missing quite a few of the light dark good ones still, and it's kind of bad that I'm missing them. Like,
how about you, Ulti? Which one are you missing? Do you have Martina?
I'm missing Martina? No, I don't have Martina. I don't have Molly or Beta. What else is there? Like the top ones?
Beta, Martina,
Wadam, Amarna,
Tableau.
I have Wadam,
Iris.
Tableau. Yeah, I don't have Iris.
Ileana, Lucas.
Ileana, I don't have it. I have the Light Dryad, which is pretty cool with the
Valeria.
Valeria. Yeah, she's
Light
pretty cool
Chun-Li,
with
Dark Dalsim.
No, I'm.
Dark Chun-Li is actually not bad either.
Yeah, well,
I got pretty unlucky with LDs.
Did you do it? Ulti, did you get all the Street Fighter scrolls?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta Bison, the fire and the water ones. Okay. But I'll try again next month. I want the water Ryu, dude.
Me and Brian's been hanging out with like a lot of the Com2uS employees, and they actually show us that they buy it themselves, the Street Fighter packs and all that.
Bro, they freaking wail, man. They wail so freaking hard, dude.
I think the reasoning for that is though, especially, is because like a lot of the employees are around our age group, where like it's nostalgic to us. You know what I mean? Like for a lot of younger guys, it's not as nostalgic. Like, oh, Street Fighter, you know, I heard of it. You know, or I played the later ones. You know, like this is nostalgic to when we were kids. You know, putting quarters in the arcades. You know what I mean? So. And a lot of the Com2uS employees are around my age. I'm 35, by the way, if anybody wants to know. But yeah, so I think that it's very nostalgic, and that's what's making a lot of the people, like the employees, actually spend.
No, they're all competitive in there, bro. They're all so competitive. Like, you know how we're competitive, like you're competitive in your group of friends and whatnot. They all work together, and they're like all competitive with one another. Like, oh, I got summoned this, I summoned that, bro. It's crazy. So I think that kind of like.
You see them at lunch. They sit there like RTAing each other while playing Magic. You're like, whoa, this is hardcore.
Like, what the?
Ulti, did you see what the streamer DJKJK summoned for one of his viewers?
No.
5 Street Fighter scrolls.
Crazy.
Right, 5 Street Fighter scrolls. Yeah. He got 4 different Bisons. Fire, wind, water, light.
Yeah, wow. In order, because he got like a Dalsim, and then he got 4 Bisons in a row.
What? That's sick.
And for one of the AV guys.
Yeah, 4 Bisons out of 5 scrolls.
That's delightful,
right?
Pretty cool. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's super cool. I summoned for my team lead 2 scrolls, and it was Ryu and a Bison, like back to back.
Question.
Do you guys feel like Bisons are more common than Ryus, or is it just me?
I think it's just because Bison. I think it's just because Bisons overall feel weaker. So I think people just like.
I don't know.
They talk about it more when they get the Bisons.
So I got a total of 3 water reuse. That's the only one I got. And then I got fire, wind, water, light bison, and I got an extra water bison.
Question.
So,
Do you guys know how many Street Fighter scrolls have been implemented into the game so far?
Total?
Between the free events and the ones you can
19,
buy.
19, 20, 19.
19 with buying everything, all the
19.
events and everything?
No, 20. 16
Okay.
was the original packs, 2 from the events, 1 from TOA, and 1 from the new legendary pack. 20 this
Okay.
been.
So I've summoned 14 of them. I didn't get any nat 5s from them. I
Yeah,
was a little bit salty about
No,
it.
did
it happens.
14 Street Fighter
That's what I was
scrolls?
telling people. Like, I feel like I haven't been watching IslandGrown do people's Street Fighter summons, but like, I feel like the Street Fighter scrolls are very like hit or miss. You know, it's either you get a lot or you get a little. Like my main, I technically got a lot. I got 5 out of 16.
Either
right?
you're Patrick or you're not Patrick.
Patrick's alt. Now I finished my story to correct Thompson's stupid comment. Patrick's alt got 1 out of 16. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's either you get a lot or you get a little. I feel like, you know.
I already.
Yeah, I have 3, but they're all from regular scrolls. I have
think if
wind
you-
and water Ryu, and then a wind
Right.
bison.
Oh yeah, I saw you did. Was it his birthday summons, right?
How
birthday summons.
has
Yeah,
yours
that was
been,
nice.
Island? Have you noticed that it's either a lot or a little with Street Fighter
when,
only?
when I do the summons, I mean, the only thing I'm telling people is, I mean, you're talking to me, the person that does like the most summons out of anybody out there. Everything is average, dude. Like honestly, over time, it's all average. The only reason why it's more skewed for Street Fighters and people will see it more skewed is because it's a smaller sample size. So there's, like you said, right? Either you get a lot or a little. You see more variables on smaller sample sizes. I mean, I hate to be the guy that brings it back to reality a little bit, right? But that's just the way the probability works, right? It's just how it works. But I have seen crazy summons of like 10 of them with like 3 nat 5s and then 15 of them with 0, right? But I will say though, if you guys don't know, the rates of a Street Fighter Nat 5 is actually higher than Legendaries, right? Legendaries are 1 in 16. Street Fighters are 1 in 12.5. So it's actually supposed to be easier to get a Nat 5 from Street Fighters. But of course, like I said, small sample size. There's a lot more variables that happen. So it's understandable. I mean, I always tell people, bro, either A, you're Team Dawson or you're Team Chun-Li. You summon one more. you summon one of those, man. We are talking about no reuse Bisons, bro. Okay, you be dreaming, all right? Either you're Team Dawson or you're Team Chun-Li. That's all we get out of those scrolls. Tell you that.
Or you're Patrick, Team Light Bison.
But yeah,
I just want the fire Ryu, man. That's all I want.
Yeah, I want
want the
fire
water
wings. I
one.
don't have it. I don't really care what they do.
I want
What are you
2
gonna do
fire
with-
Ryus.
What are you gonna do without Fire Ryu?
Siege defense. I have 2 mollies. Win MK, fire Ryu molly, and then something else with the other one.
It's like
sorry,
the
Thompson.
best way. A good example is like for players out there that want the real feel of the probability. Every day, do 12 Mystic Scrolls, and see how many days you get a lightning. That should be how it feels when you do 12 legendary. 12 Street Fighter Scrolls, right? If you did it every day, that the days you get lightnings should be the same days you would get an Nat 5. That's how it should feel, right? So when you bring things into a more practical term, it starts working with people's heads better, right? Like when I tell people 1 in 12 for Mystic Scroll Lightning, 1 in 16 for LD. It's the same feel, except LDs just feel worse because they're stupid.
Well, that's what I was saying about the Street
That's all it
Fighter
is.
scrolls. Like technically, for what they released so far, you're only supposed to get like 1 nat 5 out of it.
Yeah,
You know? So I feel like
about 1.
people either get 1 or they get like 5. You know what I mean? Like it's I feel like it's very.
I've seen a lot of
jumpy,
zeros.
You know.
I've seen a lot of zeros. Or a
You got
lot of
of
Dawsums.
zeros?
I've seen a lot of Dawsums, yeah. I'll tell you that. But-
I'm very Chun-Li, bro. I'm very Team Chun-Li on my account. So like
Oh,
I
yeah?
got like 20
Must be
something
nice.
Chun-Lis to like 8 Dawsons.
Must be nice. But the nice benefit is that there
Must
is
be
that
nice.
chance to get LD Nat 5, like you got the Light Bison, as well as the chance for the
Right.
LD4. That's a good feeling about the scrolls. So I think there's a lot less people that have felt like completely garbage.
Like I
from
said,
the
I
10
honestly look
scene.
at the scrolls because for me it's like a nostalgia thing, and like, you know, I do summon a lot in this game, and I played this game partially because of the summoning. You know what I mean? That I would summon them if they're not good. Like I'm missing Water Demon, you know, and it's not very good, but because I don't have it, I still summon. You know, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm only missing a bad one. Let me just, you know, not summon. I don't not summon. You know, like it's part of the game. I feel like, and I just, you know, completing the Pokédex is kind of cool. You know, so like whether the Ryus I'm missing or I get them, you know, whether the Ryu I'm missing are good or not, I'm still trying to get them. You know,
Right.
that's
All
the
right,
biggest
we're
thing.
gonna go ahead and move over to our last topic. We had a topic 5, which is open discussion, but I'll leave it to kind of open discussion and this topic number 4. I'm gonna change it up a little bit and kind of our big topic of the day, because end of season of RTA is coming up, right? RTA season is ending in a couple days. What are buff and nerf suggestions? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if we're following the trend of the last couple of seasons, they're gonna be a balance patch. I mean, they're gonna be a balance patch. I mean, we're expecting it. I hope it drops. Maybe we can give some suggestions. What do you want to see buffed? What do you want to see nerfed? What do you want to see changed? Right? And of course, this can affect, you know, SWC. So I'll let you take it away.
I really want to see the Art Masters get buffed. Yes.
And String Masters, man. Don't forget about them.
Yes.
And demons.
And
Please give the
Gargoyle.
demons a real buff. And the gargoyles, make them do something. Anyway.
Dude, I skilled up the blue demon because me and Martz, we're doing a stream every Tuesday together, like where we're playing RTA, and like I just wanted to play with a toy. I skilled him up, fully skilled him, and like it just wasn't working for me. But I think with a couple of small tweaks, he could be like a very niche and really nice unit. And
Like
also
what
the
unit?
leader is insane.
Like what?
The
Like
leader
what?
skill.
What would be suggestions for the water demon then?
I think overall their first skill like should somehow change because like I think it's pretty weak. And I think the revive should just give him a turn. Like I mean, it's a boring suggestion, but I think that would just make him already a lot better.
That's a buff. That's a big buff. To cut a turn is really big. It stops violent procs, right? You literally disable a rune set with that skill.
Yeah,
it's Antares.
And yeah, and for the Fire String Master, because I talked about her already. So I think her kit is amazing, but the second skill, the harmful effect rate, even when maxed, is very low. It's, if you don't remember what it does, you put this aura, and until you take your next turn, whenever the enemies take a turn, they get a attack break on them. And it's pretty strong against like not CC comps, but like bruiserish, you know, like Chow, that sort of comps. It's pretty strong. And the third skill, it's on a very long cooldown. I think it should be pretty much up like once every 2-3 turns.
Is it
and
guaranteed?
I don't think it would
attack rate? Is it guaranteed or is it?
No, it's like 50%.
Oh, okay.
And it's accuracy resistance checked as well. I think if that was a higher chance, I don't even think it would be overpowered at 100%, to be honest. I just want like the cooldowns to be adjusted a little, because I think there's a really cool unit there, just like needs a little bit of tweaking. Same with the water one, you know, I've seen Obaba play a lot with it in the beginning, like when she was just released. I think there's like some, like they're unique, and I love that. Just like I wish they were more usable in different contents. Like with small tweaks, I think they could be.
Agree. How about you, Pat?
I think they released like the String Masters. You know, obviously the Art Masters. I feel like the String Masters, they released them, and like they're all pretty much like kind of unusable. You know what I mean? Like they're not they're usable. They have unique kits. They all do something fun, but like there's something better to put in there besides a String Master at all times. You know what I mean? And I feel like they have to get rid of that. Like, there's no point wasting time releasing a unit that's just not used. You know what I mean?
They always release the one that's really fucking good though. Because
Which one is that
Mirane
one?
is crazy.
Okay, that's the one I use for just arena, you know. But that one is crazy. But like,
oh wow, you got it? Oh nice.
Oh yeah, Thompson got it for me. By the way, he's very lucky. Anyway,
your account.
Art Masters. They do need a buff. The demons, I think, to buff the demons. Not all of them, because the dark one is kind of, you know, crazy. I think the cooldown maybe on the second skill could be shorter. Obviously, hopefully they buff some of the bisons, because they don't seem that usable right now. I mean, it's hard to say because they haven't been really fully tested.
Exactly.
But I think that they're as of right now, they're a little rough on the percentages of landing their stuff is a little low. Like the Fire Bison sounds cool as shit, you know what I mean? His third skill sounds like it does everything, you know, but it lands nothing, you know what I mean? So it's like, how good is it if it lands nothing? And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I mean, I'll think about it for a minute.
Okay. How about you, Tyler? You got some buff nerf suggestions for certain units?
I'm scared to say nerfs because everyone said buffs.
You can say nerfs. Whatever. Yeah, say nerfs.
I think Molly should be nerfed to 20%.
What is she right now? 25, right?
25. 25 is a lot.
I'll comment on the Molly thing. I think Molly, as you saw in the Asia and the Korea, the preliminaries, Molly's only good when you pick it at the right time. Molly's not one of those just pick it and win whenever you want. Like, if you notice, they first pick Molly and they just get hammered. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of ways to deal with Molly. Molly's hard to deal with once you're like 4 picks in and you're showing like no damage or no armor breaker or no way to control it. Like you're gonna lose to Molly. You know what I'm saying? But if you
actually disagree with Patrick one time in a way where like Molly is, you're right, but if people have the right units, you can pick Molly first pick and win like 80% of your games. Fair.
What are the right units? Because I want to know. Because me and DGP, when we were like during our casting, we were like, whenever we saw an early Molly pick, we were like really unhappy about it because mostly they were losing. I think we saw it a couple of times in Europe, and weirdly the enemy didn't really pick damage heavy teams. Like the enemy picked teams that would be very bad against the Molly, and then the Molly ended up getting a win. But I think all the first pick Mollies we've seen so far were like, ended up being terrible.
How about like a combination of like Hathor, Ragdoll, and then Pater and stuff like that?
It's a little bit.
And then like if you're trying to outspeed them, they can still pivot, right?
I also want to mention that my comment towards Molly nerf is more towards ladder play than tournament play.
Yeah.
But I agree. If you first pick Molly in a tournament, it is a lot harder to win with it because the pre-bans exist.
Yeah, if you first pick Molly and ladder, like it's very easy to deal with. It's just that if you
I'm not sure about that. There's some games where people first pick Molly, and I'm just like, this guy also has like insane units to pair with it, and it's just like, and I follow them because after they destroy me with some like crazy comp. They have like you said, like they have Paturo Ragdoll or something, and the Molly, and then the Vigor.
Artifacts. Paired with like the right percentage and the good artifacts, she's really still pretty hard to deal with. I'm not saying like, oh, first pick her, but like with the right unit, she's pretty crazy.
You know what the crazy thing is that she's a unit that is so good. She does a lot, right? Her kit is great. She's amazing. She's really good, and you don't ban her. So it's like she's not good enough to like ban, but
you can't ban her.
But she's like good enough that like you're not gonna ban it, and she's gonna like dominate the field. It's kind of like in that weird little slot, you know? Because usually things that are overpowered, super strong, super OP, it's a lot more times you can like have an opportunity to ban it, but you don't get a lot of opportunities to ban it. Right?
The other thing with Molly too is that when you get into the late game, like because she actually does nothing besides really just heal, it becomes a standing unit that ends up getting like close to one shot in the late game. If you could last long enough, I get it. I get what you guys are saying. Like Molly's strong. I'm not saying she's not strong. I'm not downplaying her abilities. You know what I mean? But there are ways to counter it. And if you pick another team that just sustains just as long as that does, by the late game, your sustain, which is probably like a Fran or whatever it is a lot more impactful than the Molly. The Molly's just kind of standing there by the late game. You know what I'm saying? And it's just going to get one shot after a while. That's the problem with Molly. Because it doesn't have anything else impactful besides the heal. Like Fran is impactful through the whole game, you know?
So the impact that I see, the strongest impact with the Mollies is in the last couple of days, I've lost 3 matches to a Molly first pick where the Molly's 273 speed or faster. And it first turn cleanses, and I'm just like, how the fuck do I? Because, I mean, what do you CC the Molly first turn and then let him just do whatever he wants for free on everything else? The attack bars are so close. You're like, there's no way this 95 base speed unit.
Yeah, that's how people with good runes run their Molly. You know, they put it right behind their thing. They
put it ahead of it to cleanse. Like they put it ahead. Yeah, they put it ahead of whatever it is because they put like their fastest. Yeah, I feel like when you reach the point where your fastest violent runes come out on a unit, that unit's usually one of the best units on ladder.
If that's the only thing you're concerned about, like Tetra could do the same thing then technically, right? Or any other cleanser could just be the fastest cleanser.
Tetra doesn't heal nearly as much though, and doesn't have the glancing threat. The glancing threat stops a lot of like on hit debuffs. So that's why, I mean, this is the reason why like people pick like Ragdoll and Molly together and Arda together and stuff. Like they're like, oh, why would you want glancing? Because like you want crit for attack bar, but it's like if you glance, you don't debuff. If you glance, you don't do damage. If you crit, you get punished. It's like you get punished on every single side, right? You punish Okeanos, you punish people who are crit focused, you punish anything that's not multi-hits for debuff applications.
Also, the Molly really counters like a lot of those monsters like that teams are very used to using. Like some people put their best runes on like Daphnis, Diana, Vertihil, and they require really good runes and sets. So it's like it's a pretty big deal.
Do you think she counters Diana though? I don't think it's like a hard counter, definitely, because it makes the games go longer, and then the longer the game is, the stronger that Diana.
I mean, a lot of opinions on that is like very skewed, right? Because like in my opinion, right, I think it counters Diana, right? But then like I fought a Diana with a Molly the other day, the guy first to armor breaks me, Diana goes in and 4 crits me to death, right on the molly, just kills the molly straight up. So it's like, it's a lot of people's opinions always come from like trial and error. I just think that me personally, and I do pick molly, and I fought against a lot of mollies. Like, I think that if you're able to pick any kind of damage, like molly's not that scary because she doesn't do all that much outside of her passive.
Molly just enhances other kits. That's the reason why I think she's so strong, right? She amplifies
like
units
Tetra,
that are already
for example,
good.
Right? Like Tetra,
but
example,
Tetra, in my opinion, doesn't amplify as strong.
Right, so I'm saying, but it's very good against like Gianna and whatever Nefestes we're going to pick, right? But at the same time, the unit itself doesn't really do anything. And like I always say in RTA, you have 4 units. If any one is not like super impactful, it's a waste of a spot. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel on Molly too. Like, granted, her passive is OP. I get it. Her kit is OP. But at the same time, she does nothing to impact the other side that much. You know what I mean? Like, as far as threat, it's like a one less threat. It's just a standstill body kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I understand what you mean, because like if you pick Molly, you're generally bringing less like damage with it, right? You're susceptible to taking more damage.
Correct.
And while I do agree, like that perspective is agreeable, the side that Thompson and I are looking at is like it doesn't need to bring damage because it brings mitigation. Is kind of how we're looking at it. It's like when someone brings a defense buff to their team, right? They bring the mitigation.
But you guys
so
are also basing a lot of it on the fact that the guy has Ragdoll and Pater and stuff like that. And that's
is that not super common in G2 plus RTA?
I don't know.
Contrary to what both you guys are saying, I mean, I feel like molly comps actually have a lot of damage, to be honest. Like, even the typical stuff that people bring with it, like just the vigor and molly, which is like literally best friends, like that's like a lot of damage, man. While like also having all that mitigation damage and sustain as well. I think that's where the power actually comes from, is that it's scary because it has everything. That just the molly vigor together is already a really strong combination.
There's so many comps I played against today. They go Vigor, Molly, Achroma. I was like, whoa, like
it's so hard to debuff.
Yeah. It's your fault. It's your fault for not breaking up the Vigor Molly, bro.
Like you can bring anything with the Vigor Molly, and I mean, it's so good. Like, it just brings so much damage, right? Staying alive is basically more damage too, in theory. It works that way.
The most notable comp where we're talking about where we feel like the molly doesn't impact enough, I think, is the more stationary comps. If you bring molly with something that like gives you turns speed buff or any sort of attack bar gain, I think she becomes a lot of pressure really fast. So like if you have molly Verd, like that can be really scary. Molly Ragdoll, obviously, you can run the molly, even molly Achroma, like you said, is like really good against a lot of people if you first pick Hathor or something. But molly Vigor as the combo, I mean, obviously we know the combo's overpowered, right? But the speed buff and then the fact that you 3-turn defense break is like more than enough. Like, I want to say this as the meme, but we come down, we're like, oh yeah, she's not that good. She only strips, heals, glances, cleanses, and also has max HP scaling damage on skill 1. And low cooldowns. Like, they say it like the meme, but I think it's
not good. I just think that there's plenty of ways to deal with her, and people just don't deal with her properly and then go, oh, they're overpowered.
What do you think are the best ways to deal with her?
Armor break.
But what
how do you land armor break on glancing?
You're assuming the glancing lands every time.
Okay.
Like that's a very skewed opinion. Listen,
okay, so
I have Diana's. Listen, hold on. I have Diana's fucking crit me 4 times through Vigor buff and Molly buff. Like, what does it matter? What's gonna happen? It happens. Like, it's not every game it's gonna happen. So you're taking a variable and making it the facts. Like, you make it seem like Molly guarantees glancing. I've used Molly plenty of games where I never got glanced. Like, they never threw a glance at me. They just popped me right through it. But like I said, I agree. Molly's very strong. I'm not downplaying her kit, her skill, her ability. The point is, there are ways to deal with it. If you have any kind of armor breaker, you deal with it. You have any kind of late game unit like Leica. Like, Leica will solo Molly and Vigor. A Vampire Leica will solo Molly and Vigor by the late game. It'll one-shot both of them. Yeah, guaranteed.
The hard part is
Vampire Leica dies to that Vigor every single day of the week.
I think at the
you're not fast enough to out-rotate it.
You need to fix that Leica.
There's no way to out-rotate it. That thing's way too fast always.
I would like to say though that
Leica Vigor also puts the heal block on Leica, so that's counter.
But I would like to say though that the Molly I mean, you're both right. It's like Waika says, there are ways to deal with it. You guys are also saying Molly's really strong. You're both right to an extent, but I mean, Molly is more, in my opinion, of like I like to use the word catalyst, because of the other units that are meta right now, the other units that you usually will pair up and use with her. it makes her strong because, you know, you have to focus and worry about those other units more than the Molly. And because she does what she does, people aren't taking care of her because they're trying to handle all the other things that are, you know, just a little bit higher in that priority list in your, you know, your drafts and your lineups, and even when you're actually doing your fight. So that's where I think her power comes. It's like a hidden power is where she's coming from.
Her win rate right now, I know it's still pretty high up there.
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people are saying...
Do you wanna know a good way to counter Molly and Vigor?
Use her teat and steal all their stats.
Yeah.
This fucking guy, dude. This fucking guy.
Smiling, and I knew it was coming.
Dude, I love this meta. Like for my team,
it's so good for you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
just going Valeria. Yeah,
What's
I just go Valeria, Fren, Odin, Hurtate, and then another damage dealer. And like if they just pick this bruiser teams, I just let it go till late game, and then in the end, it's GG for me.
Yeah, but it is. What do you guys agree that it's nice that, you know, there's different units in kind of the meta right now? I mean, yeah, it's nice that there's Mollies in there, there's Vigors. I mean, of course, the Beast Riders this year, right, coming in. It's kind of cool to see some of the new units kind of shine like that, like new 2As all of a sudden get in there, right? We got Lucia and stuff coming in since 2As came out. I'm excited. Like every time they release 2As. Speaking of that, they should release another 2A soon, please, because I'd like to see something else coming in the meta.
I do like Molly in a way where it gives like people that enjoy playing second turn a chance, you know, because like it's been a speed meta for a really long time, and like the Molly kind of helps you not have to really fight for speed in a way.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people gave some suggestions of Tessa. I think Tessa's great. Now, I'm gonna talk about two things here. I think Tessa can work against Molly, but oftentimes you'll notice that the teams that come with Molly, Tessa's not going to be usually too good into it, you know what I mean, because of like big boards and stuff like that, or they play double immunes. But on the contrary, Tessa's so good, dude. The other day was doing some wings, and bro, I was like, oh, this is a great game for Tessa. Bro, I brought him in, dude, he hits so hard and he just doesn't die. He's actually nuts. And then I looked at my runes and I'm like, oh my god, these are garbage runes, man. And he's so good. Like, Tessa is a slept on unit right now, man. He's actually nuts, dude.
Dude, I have the world's best. I have the self-proclaged world's best Tesla.
Dude,
remember?
it's so good, dude. He's so good right now.
So Pater's win rate is 56.85.
Okay.
Ragdoll's 55.17.
In what, ladder, or is this a tournament?
Ladder.
RTA Picks.intel.
Yeah. Tien Lang is 55. Gianna's 55. Artist 54.
Tsarion.
30.
Nah, Tsarion's going to be skewed because it's not drafted too often.
Exactly.
Yeah. But dude, don't you draft it in, bro? You
want to know Molly, Patrick?
Skill 1, the unit just disappears, dude. It's so gross.
Molly is 53.
Oh.
53%.
What's the highest win rate unit? Does it tell you that?
Highest is Pater. Pater's at almost 57%.
So let's talk about an LD Nat 5 Pater then. I mean, sorry for all the Pater users out there below, but I think this unit's kind of strong, dude. Like either A, I just don't know how to play against it or deal with it, but I think it's kind of strong, bro. Like,
yeah, man.
I don't know. It does a lot, dude. It does a lot, dude. Like, I'm sorry.
Any unit that does some kind of protection element and does damage is strong unit, right? Like it's not like a dead immunity, you know, like Wusa, right? Like Wusa's an immunity, you know, but it doesn't do that much offense. Unless you're one of those fucking special ones that sleep 4 times a game and sleeps Dianas and stuff. But,
yeah,
you know, if you don't have a special one, it's kind of just an immunity, you know. But Pater, like, he does damage too on top of having a crazy kid. You know what I mean? Like he does damage. It's doing damage is a big deal in this game. You know, that's what makes Gianna, right? Like one of the best stripper technically, right? Because she's a stripper that actually does damage too. You know what I mean? On top of whatever.
How do you sort by win rate on this?
And this is before artifacts. It doesn't sort properly. I
was trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't sort properly.
You just can't. Yeah.
So you're both just typing in the name.
Yeah.
It's not sorting properly.
So what you can do, Tyler, is you can download it as an Excel sheet and then sort it manually there.
Okay, I'll probably do that then.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to it, I mean, like throughout the the various seasons of RTA, I've always had different phobias. I like to call it like my own phobias. Yeah, I used to have a lot of Amelia phobia, but now, I mean, with Pater, it just feels the same thing. It's like a Pater phobia. When you see that, you're like, okay, I don't even know what else is on the field, but I am drafting to play against the other 4. Like I'm
Well, the
literally
thing
drafting
is-
against other four. I'm banning
That's
that.
actually really smart. Because like I always draft against Pater, and they bring
Yeah.
Pater, and I try to bring like Okeanos Daphnis, but that just doesn't do enough against Pater. Because the Daphnis, they'll bring in like Vanessa. Then who do I ban? Do I just still keep the like Pater unbanned, or sometimes bring Okeanos? Like this happened today. I reset the Pater, and the Pater just like violent proc a few times, and all of a sudden like it has third skill up again.
Yeah.
Just saying, on a side note, of all the
Okay.
top tier LD5s, Yunhong has the lowest win rate. Just saying.
How many games played compared to the other ones? That's an important factor.
Yunhong is 57,000 used. Who do you want me to compare it to?
Hathor. I don't know.
Well, you can't do Thor. You got to do another LD, right? That's the only way it's fair.
Yeah.
Because
Gianna. I don't know.
Gianna is used 100,000 more times, I think. Yeah, Gianna's over 55. Yunhong's 51.
Gianna's the highest win comp though. Like the specific comps that win the best. Sierra, Gianna, Gani, Hathor, Chu is the highest win rate right now as an individual comp.
Oh, let's check Nefestis. I didn't check Nefestis.
It's Nephthys.
Nefestis is
Hephaestus.
53, 27. Nefestis.
Sounds like a freaking disease, Hephaestus or whatever the shit that they. That
He always says it like that.
Yeah.
Because Archer says it like that.
Oh man! All right. Any more suggestions here? Like we want to give it input because I mean, if balance patch happens, it's coming out next week. You know what I mean? It's right after RTA season, so I mean, let's throw it now, man. Like.
I said one thing and we talked about it for 30 minutes. I love this.
I mean, but it's important though. Molly Vigor is the big talks right
So
now.
I don't think Molly's overpowered. I just think she's like a little.
If we're talking about nerfs, we could talk about like, should we take away the strip sleep on Hathor skill 2? That's like
No, because it doesn't work anyway, bro.
Yeah, I've
You
talked
know-
about this many times.
You know what I was thinking, Thompson?
Yeah.
What do you guys think if they change? You know how they changed the attack bar decrease mechanic for Leo and some other units in one patch? Like where, like in the past, attack bar decrease wouldn't glance, but for some units now it does. What if they did that for strip for some units, and Hathor would be one of them? Do you think that would?
They would have to
fix-
do that for everything because no strips in the game glance and no cooldown resets glance.
Yeah, but in the past, no attack bar reduction used to glance as well, but they had a specific patch where a couple of units can now glance, like Leo.
So he's trying to
for
make an
example.
exception for certain units and put.
They made it for all
certain-
passives, right?
Did they?
I think it's all passives. They made it consistent across. Com2uS is very good at. I know I very risky saying this. Com2uS is very good at making things consistent across a mechanic, a base mechanic.
What the fuck?
So-
Are you work? You suck the Com2uS
I
dick?
know. So
Are
so
you
in
suck
the
the
past,
Com2uS dick? What you trying to say, huh? What the hell, man? You suck the dick?
in the past, people used to
Dude, can I
use
say that?
Claw for safety and speed giants because the passive never glanced, so you could always attack bar reduce the giant, right?
Yeah.
That's why when they changed the passive glancing mechanic for Leo and stuff, Fermion got a nerf because Fermion glances, now he can't provoke, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like if they make it so that the attack bar has to glance, then they have to make that consistent across all units, which means it has to deal damage.
Okay, so what do you think then if they just changed it for all units, where wind units can glance on their strips for fire?
That's a big nerf to a lot of units.
You'd have to change that for every single unit in the game. Every unit can glance,
lot.
like all strips can glance is basically what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not saying that should happen. I'm just saying
She's just throwing
like,
out there.
would that fix Hathor? What do you think? Or
it
would
seems
that?
like it seems
No.
to me that Ulti really doesn't like Hathor. That's why I brought it up, because like he was earlier in the podcast, he was saying that like he really enjoyed watching EU because EU players doesn't use Hathor. So like, yeah, let's try to fix Hathor and figure out what we could do to.
It's not that I don't like Hathor. I just I would like her a lot more if she was like a pick that like you didn't default to, you know. Like I like those kind of stuff way more.
It's also
Like,
not just Hathor is a big problem, but also Ganymede paired along with like Fran and all those monsters. Like it's also a huge problem as
So
well.
Ganyoki don't have that high win rates, by the way. They're both at like 49.
So keep it that way. So
I feel like
it.
honestly, I think 49% win rate is pretty good because there's like this takes into account all the matches, right?
It's a
Including
lot
the
bigger
lower ranked
sample
ones.
size, of course. Yeah, it's a lot bigger sample.
So the whole Hathor thing, as much as I agree we should make something that changes the Hathor, I disagree that we should break all other units that exist and make them worse just to nerf Hathor. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It makes sense. I actually didn't know that all passives were changed. Now that I think about it, yeah, like I can see that all of the passives were changed. I just thought that they made an exception for a couple of units, and I was gonna suggest to make an exception for Hathor, but that I also don't think it makes a lot of sense to do it for everyone.
Am I one of the few that feels like Hathor is a problem, but not really? Because there's like ways to draft against it.
I've always said that too, but Thompson will always argue with me saying that Hathor is,
what I want to say is that I feel like there's other units out there that when people draft, there's a lot less answers to and a lot less things to draft against to have a cohesive draft to have a fighting chance against it. Whereas a unit like Hathor, even though very predominant, very overwhelming, has a lot of ways to draft against and play against. You know what I mean? I feel so. You know, I don't know if in my head I'm trying to figure out if she's actually a real big problem because I know she's drafted a lot, or is she just like memed on by the community and because of that it just seems like it's a bigger problem than it is. You know what I mean? Like, you know how do I?
Well, I mean it's a problem. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. It is a problem because I think somebody brought it up in the past, and it does make sense. Yeah. You kind of need 2 units to counter the 1 unit.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah, you know, like as well.
Like Tesla, you can say okay, counters Molly, whatever. Or, you know, like things like that. You know, like Mina counters Daphnis. You know, like stuff like that. You know, but Hathor, it's like you almost need 2 things to really like neutralize the Hathor. You know, but granted, if the other guy picks units that can be neutralized by the same 2 you picked, then it makes Hathor much weaker. But if the guy drafts 2 units that deal with your 2 neutralizers, like it makes Hathor really strong.
Yeah, I know. It's just hard because like that saying that you need 2 things to counter Hathor. There's actually a lot of things in the game that are pressing that you need 2 things to counter as well. So I don't know if that's the best merit. You know what I mean? Like oftentimes when there's a unit with a lot of CC, I mean, you need double immunity to counter just in case they ban one, right? So I don't know if that's a direct correlation. If that, you know, so that's what I'm trying to figure out because I know she's toxic.
I'm pretty sure all 5 of us, from Patrick all the way to Ulti, has like maybe not Ulti because Ulti is different, but then we all have our fastest Swift set or our fastest Violent set on Hathor, right?
No,
pretty much.
I haven't used Hathor in 2 years,
but most people, I mean, that's the power of Hathor, you know.
But let me ask you this: when you're drafting, right, and they have Hathor, do you have a seriously insane problem playing against those matches? In 1,000 matches of Hathor, do you have that big of a problem? Or do you have a problem?
I usually do.
Really? I usually do as well, yeah.
For me, it's the units that I lack that counter it.
Interesting.
Yeah, same. For me, it's not that I lack the units. I just don't have them runed up because I don't have the rune depth for it. And I feel like I just have to change my entire playstyle because like just the fast CC comps just counter me. And the biggest problem is Hathor there. But then there are other stuff I need to ban as well. So
because I feel there's great like stuff that I can draft or bring in to go against Hathors, you know, when they're first picked. So it's not like a biggest story. No, I mean I wish I had a pay, but I'm more scared of like that other stuff that they're drafting that I have to play against. You know what I mean? But yeah. But then again, I like the point of some people might not have the answers or the units to counter it, right? Or the rune depth, like you said as well. So it's a possibility.
When it comes to like Hathor nerfs, I have always thought that the biggest strength of Hathor, and this actually goes in line with what Thompson said, saying like your fastest Violent or fastest Swift set, right? It's her skill 2, yeah. Barian, I think, said it best. I will always agree that Barian had the best suggestion for the change on Hathor, that it was to take away the strip on her skill 2, to give it something else instead.
What you said, right?
Yeah. So you know we've talked about this before, Thompson too. It's like no strip, but it sleeps and pushes attack bar back, right? I think that would be fair, and it would make her a reasonable unit that's still good, but it no longer makes her this turn 1 oppressive. If I don't reset the first turn, we lose.
I don't think you necessarily lose.
Right. I mean, that's definitely an exaggeration.
Right. Well, it's not an exaggeration in the sense that that's where the whole 2 units to counter 1 unit thing comes in, right? So if you're only relying on an Oki to reset her, right? And Oki fails, you lost the game. That's the only thing you had was Oki, you know? But now if you go deeper than that, you go Oki, let's say you go Oki Juno, right? So they have 2 counters to deal with it, but then at the same time, are you doing enough now, though? You know what I'm saying? Now that you're CC'd, are you doing enough with just the Juno? You know, so it's, like I said, I don't like picking Hathor. I do it because my friends tell me to do it. You know, it's kind of like they're good players, you know?
I take their word. I'm not a big fan of Hathor. Like, I think personally, I'd be perfectly okay if I didn't pick Hathor for 2 years, like Ulti said. Like, I'd be happy player if I did that. You know, I feel like I could beat more people when they pick Hathor than I could beat when I pick Hathor. That's my personal feeling. And whether that's true or not, I have no facts. I have no stats to back it up. It's just my personal feeling. Dude. And I just feel like whenever I pick Hathor, there's something going on where it does. I don't get to sleep everybody, you know, or he doesn't strip.
You can play
Unity, because there's counters, like IslandGrown saying, you know. But I feel like if they pick Hathor, I could do stuff to their Hathor too that just neutralizes it as well. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I feel like I could beat Hathor more times than I could win with using Hathor, me personally. But like talking to Thompson, you know, who obviously I respect a lot, you know, regarding RTA, you know, he'll always say Hathor's number one. If you can't pick it, you know, you always pick it. Pick it if you can. If it's there, you got to take it, you know? And coming from a guy with, you know, 10, 11 LD NAT5s to still prioritize Hathor over everything is kind of a big deal, you know?
You can also imagine like what comps you like using in RTA and just imagine their full team slept. And you're like, could I survive that or could I not survive that? Yeah.
I've been liking Oki and Gani more. Like I like those units a lot. Like Oki and Gani, especially together, have been really, really good, really strong. So, I mean, I guess
for me the biggest problem is the Hathor, like that you can't proc out of that skill, and it just locks, like shuts you down like way too hard with that third skill.
But can't you draft against it? I feel like in this day and age, you can play against it. You can draft against it. That means that's a drafting error. You know what I mean? Like you have it in your repertoire. You should be able to draft against it.
Right. So what are you supposed to do though? Do you draft Josephine and Juno, and then you lock up 2 spots?
Well, it depends on what they have, right? You have 2 options. You can draft for it, or you can draft to ban it. Right? There's 2 different things. So it's not like the hardest thing to play against, right?
The thing is, you never want to be right in RTA. You never want to be in position where you have to ban the first pick, right?
Yeah.
You always want to be in a position where you want to ban the last pick.
Yeah.
You know,
it's easier.
That's the position you want to be in. I mean, obviously, it doesn't always work that way. You know, let's say the first pick's Ragdoll, then already like 85% of your draft is around banning those 2, right? So that's my point. But you want to be able to not have to ban the Hathor, you know. But are you going to pick yourself too deep? Like I had that problem for a while too. I was going like, you know, Vela, Juno, Josephine, you know, and all of a sudden I'm just stuck with a team that does nothing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not sleeping, but I'm not doing shit either awake. You know what I mean? So
okay, they could nerf.
You gotta be careful.
They could nerf her like this. What if they gave her a tableau treatment and she just goes to sleep?
I don't think it would make it would be good, but it wouldn't be enough. That's the thing. You would find so many players who could abuse it.
That would be good though, right? Because like you could still cleanse it out, but you cannot.
Sleeps herself?
Yeah, but she cannot have immunity. Immunity won't stop that sleep that on her. You know how Tableau still is stunned? You have to cleanse it out.
Like the Viva Shell one, yes.
Right, so it would take more
be
setup.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I just thought about that. Yeah.
That's enough. That's enough to nerf her.
That's enough. And you can still use her.
Well, if like that's the case.
No, I don't think it's unusable because you still have units that you typically draft with it, from Fran to whatever units to get it out of that position.
Ileana with it, but still, wow, that's like crazy, right?
Yeah, that would be the nerf though. You want a nerf, right?
Yeah.
So I think the thing that brought Hathor and Hathor back to like the strength and the light in front of everyone is actually the fact that Vigor is so strong, right? The speed buff is insane, and then the artifact stacking with that too is so good.
That's the side note to like Gani Hathor though. Like,
yeah, they just made it better again because they gave it a good damage dealer.
Yeah,
and I don't mind if they nerf Hathor or not, really. The only reason why I'd push for a Hathor nerf, and this is the only reason, and it goes back to what Ulti said earlier, just to change the flavor of RTA, so it's not just defaulted. You know, you queue into a game, the guy has first pick, it's 80% it's going to be Hathor. You know what I mean? If you have first pick, 80% you're going to pick Hathor. Like, it doesn't give RTA any flavor when that happens, you know, and that's the only reason why I would ask for a nerf on Hathor. Otherwise, I think she's fine. I don't care.
I agree. It's like all these years, right? The most predominant unit has been Hathor, right. Even though
I have to disagree.
Yeah. I have to disagree with some of the people out there that says the meta doesn't change. I think the meta and the units that you're drafting is different every year. But think of it this way: you're at an Italian restaurant every season of RTA, right? There's pasta every time you visit, but there's a different flavor. You got tomato sauce, you got Alfredo sauce, a little bit different every time, but you always eating pasta. You know, sometimes maybe I want some vegetables or I don't want to eat pasta. You know what I mean? Right? That's why that would be the reason why I would say maybe nerf the Hathor, right? Is to change that, right? Let's go eat something else for a change. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I've always been a fan of like GVG and like special kind of tournament rules and special things, because I feel like that brings out new monsters, new flavors, new things to watch. Like otherwise, you're just watching, Ganny Hathor versus Molly Vigor, and then it's just the battle of 20 minutes. Right. You know what I mean? It's a battle of 20 minutes of who procs better at the end. So it's just not fun to watch. It's just
Last
like I said, it's hard. Like I said, that's the reason why I think the Asia thing was boring for me, because there's a lot of mollies, and it's mollies at 2-3 o'clock in the morning my time. You know how hard it is to watch that match? Like if it was if it was Cleve versus Cleve at 2:30, okay, I could deal with that. 15 seconds. It's Molly versus Hathor at 3 in the morning, and then there's a 6-minute gap between the matches. Like I can't survive that, dude. my body can't handle that kind of shit.
All right, we'll go on to the last topic of open discussion. Any last words you guys want to say? Anything that you want to put out? We got a couple minutes left here. Pretty long podcast today, but I mean, we went through some freaking hot stuff, man. Like, this is some good stuff. I like it.
I finally made it back to G2.
Nice. Is it holding position? 18 what?
Yeah, I took a whole month off RTA. I didn't play RTA at all in August and the first 2 weeks of September, and it was like a very nice mental health break of not having to rage at the game.
Let me segue off that a little bit. I did lurk on your stream a little bit, Tyler, yesterday watching you RTA, and I think you played really well. And I happened to be there for the match that you fought Truewell.
I wanted that so bad.
You had, in a weird way, you were in position. You were like a proc away from taking that game.
Yeah, it was whoever procced at that next turn won the game. If I procced, it was over. If he procced, it was over.
So I did notice you are playing, pretty well. I mean, I don't know how you played before. I never really watched you RTA, but I did watch a couple of matches yesterday. I think you're playing pretty good, and that's probably why.
Thank you.
So
Savannah is OP. I will confirm that. Savannah is OP.
Must be nice.
100% she's OP.
Must be nice. Must be nice to have one of those.
That's a detrimental thing in this world. That's like one of the weird anomalies in this game is, like, for example, like why Truewell has no Savannah. Like that's an anomaly. You know what I mean? Like, considering what he summons, like I understand, like even Thompson, like a Molly, and him not having Molly is kind of like a crazy thing considering how much he summons, whatever. But like that's still an LD. Like, do you compare how many LDs you do to compare to how many mysticals you do on a normal basis? Like,
all right, you want to know the math then? How many nat 5s are there? There's like 73 nat 5s. Because of blessings, you divide by 2. That's 36.5 multiplied by the average of nat 5 of 200. Truewell has to summon about 7,300 scrolls on average to get the nat 5 that he's looking for. So, I mean, when you put it in that perspective, it's pretty hard. Right? Even though I'm pretty sure he summons like thousands of scrolls, right? 7.3k average, right? We talk about 200 scrolls for a nat 5 average. We talk about 285 for an LD nat 5 average. It's a 7,300 with blessings average to get any specific nat 5 you want. So know your rates, know your stats, man. I tell you, when you break it down, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, dude. Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. No, I hope he gets one though, man. Like, I know he's trying to full Pokédex, right? So I hope he gets it though. Quick math, yeah, quick maths.
It's not quick math. There's something he studied for a long time, man. You can just repeat it again right now without even thinking.
I mean,
he looks in the mirror every morning to train himself for that one chance to use that sentence in front of everybody. Look like we're brain.
Bro, I got a whole cheat sheet right here, bro.
Taped to the top of his monitor.
Every probability, every scenario. You want to know your chance of getting a Molong on a Saturday in the middle of a rain when it's the football game's going on? I got the answer right here, bro. It's all on my cheat sheet right here. But anyways, solid podcast today. Ulti, you had one last thing to go? Go ahead.
Yeah, one last thing. So I know Brian has, but did you guys build the Ikaru team?
I did not. I kind of want to, but I'm way too lazy, man.
I think if you already have 2 Rauks, the most efficient team to build is 2 Rauk, 1 Ikaru, and Light Homunculus. Because you can use double Rauks really well in Punisher's Crypt and in
So you're running 4 you're running 4 units also still?
Yeah. You run 5.
I run 5 at that.
Right, Light Homunculus with Rock On is like insanely strong with that
what's
team.
The 5th one? Verd,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Verd, double Rauk, Ikaru, and the Light Homunculus is insanely good and consistent.
I think that'll work good, but it depends, right? It's like, oh, do I have the Homunculus already built?
I just don't want to build 3 units that do nothing else, and it takes time and effort. Yeah. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's kind of my
it's more of a fun team to build that will work too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Given
it's cool though. It's cool to see. Cool. I love the way it looks.
It's fast as well.
Like, it's not a bad time, and it's good success rate.
I'm watching it. I'm waiting for it to fail. It doesn't fail, man. Every single time if the run stops, it's because I ran out of energy. I'm like, oh, it finally failed. You know what I mean? Like, I have to say it's 99%. This shit don't fail, man. Like, I've been farming like 1,000 runs already, dude. It's there's no variable of RNG here. It's very minimum. So I can see why it will just never fail. That's crazy. That's actually so crazy.
It almost never derps because there's no cooldowns.
Yeah, doesn't derp. All right. Thank you guys for joining me on the podcast today. We're gonna put the links to all their channels down below. Do you stream Ulti from time to time or no?
Yes. So I stream on the Com2uS EU channel every Tuesday, and I also now have a full-on streaming setup in my house. So I'm gonna be also streaming on my own channel. I'll send the links to you.
Yeah, give me the link after. We're gonna put the link to.
Can you post the links in the chat so we can follow you as well?
Yeah.
Thank you.
1 second.
So we're gonna put the links to all of the Twitch streams and OnlyFans down. Twitch streams down below. Go ahead and check them out. Everybody here is different time zones. Everybody here streams quite a bit. Make sure you check them out. Leave your comments down below. Right, we had some great discussions today, from helping players to get skill ups that they need, to buffs and nerfs, to SWC. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear them, your opinions on stuff. Right, let's get some great discussions going, and hopefully Com2uS sees it. I'll see it, and we'll continue talking about it more in the future as well. But until the next time, I'll see you guys in the next live stream or podcast. Peace out.